All right, hello everybody, and welcome to another Green Square Talks Battlebots podcast. We got a pretty big group here: Derin, Pory, Civilian Arc, Smurf, and Blaze. All returning co-hosts are back for another podcast. BBBN will probably be here as well. He's a little late this time. We might see Mantine maybe make random appearances like he usually does with this podcast. But we got a couple special guests for this one. We got Zach and Diane of Skorpios, who had their second fight in this episode, and it's great to have them on for this. So. How's it going, everybody here?
It's going good. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's an honor to have you on here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm a big fan.
It's going to be fun, I hope.
I hope so too.
Yeah. yeah. It's always fun when we have builders on here. Combination of getting to talk with them about stuff like this, and basically them getting to know us pretty well, and yeah, lots of stuff like that. But anyway, you can find everybody's YouTube channels linked down in the description, including Skorpios. I'd highly recommend checking out that stuff. Builder blogs every single week. They do giveaways quite often, and I'll let you explain the 10 million subscriber thing right here that I was going to mention, Zach or Diane.
Well, once we hit 10 million.
I wish.
No, there's a goal. Once we hit 10,000 subscribers, we're going to release a video of Skorpios destroying a demolition car.
Heck yeah! I meant to say 10,000, but accidentally said million. It's one of those days.
You never know.
I mean, yeah, you never know.
I mean, they deserve it.
Yeah, man. They should have. They should be at 10 million.
They should have 10 million.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the Battlebots community has been growing, so maybe they will hit 10 million subscribers for real. We know Battlebots, the base channel, hit 1 million, I think, last summer, or somewhere in that area. So it's definitely possible to keep growing. But regardless, though, back to the point, I want to see that car getting destroyed. So yeah, subscribe to Skorpios' channel and help them get to 10,000.
Okay, was the video of the car being destroyed, was that already filmed? Like, is that a thing you just have like ready to post?
Yeah.
Or...
Yes, it is.
Cool.
We just passed, so we're in the final stretch.
Ooh.
Yep.
Yeah. But anyway, so this is our episode 6 review podcast where we're planning to discuss all 7 of these fights one by one and share lots of our opinions on it as usual. So once again, as usual, if you haven't seen the episode yet, there will be spoilers in this. So I'd recommend at least checking out the fights because we will be talking about the results of this. So let's go ahead and get.
There's going to be spoilers?
Yeah, Blaze, there are going to be spoilers.
Oh,
no. Not spoilers.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Oh, no. Civ, have you seen all the fights?
Yeah, man. This was the last episode I saw live, so I got to see.
I know, that's why I asked.
I got to see Endgame Ripper. Fun fact: Endgame versus Ripperoni was the last fight I saw live, which is a funny fight to go home to.
Pizza time.
A good fight to go home to if you had to go home.
Oh yeah, it's a pretty good fight to go home to. It's just a nutty one to go home to.
It's even funnier that I kind of wonder if Battlebots perfectly timed it that they were going to be premiering this episode on National Pizza Day. But
I feel like someone in production had to know that was a thing, and they were like, we got to do it.
Yeah, similar to how Battlebots premiered Sharkoprian and Warhead on Shark Week from that season, which was also incredible. But yeah, anyway, the debut fight of this episode was Endgame and Ripperoni, battle between two massive vertical spinners. Endgame coming off of a pretty dominant victory over Blip for their first fight, and Ripperoni coming off of a judge's decision loss to Gruff. So, yeah, so we got to see some pretty interesting fork configurations for this one. Endgame debuting a set of forks to, they mentioned try to take advantage of Ripperoni's gyroscopic forces and Ripperoni, but also an awesome fork configuration. So.
Yep.
Literally.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. That was so funny to me. I just gotta Bravo. That's a glorious joke. I love it.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. And yeah, this fight did not go the direction I imagine a lot of fans thought. So even though I did predict Ripperoni to win this fight in my prediction podcast, I was betting it was unlikely that it was going to happen. But heck yeah, to Ripperoni that everything worked out really well for them, even if Endgame did start off with some bad luck at least. But anyway, I'll leave the floor to everyone else here. What's everyone's thoughts on this fight, at least?
Who wants to go first?
Well, I can tell you one thing.
Go first.
I actually talked to Jack right before the match started. I said, "How you feeling?" And he goes, "Not actually that well. I like robots that are consistent, that I know what they're going to do. In-game thrives on consistency and us predicting it and beating them. And that thing's just a chaos machine. And I'm really worried about a random hit." And I was like, wow, I expected a lot more confidence. and then I saw the fight. I'm like, wow, he did almost call this. And the chaos really was his undoing.
Really
that
was.
And a kill sauce lot.
A pork in the kill sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can say the pits were crazy. It was the loudest I had ever heard the builders get. During this fight. It was amazing.
Yeah, the high five area was pretty nuts too, because like you see Endgame just caught up on the kill slaws. You're watching it live, you're like, what the hell is going on? And then you see Ripperoni just have all these big hits, and you're like, oh my god, Endgame's actually gonna lose this. And like Endgame's become such like a novelty robot at this point. Like, like everyone expects it to like be like,
you say novelty?
I'm not
I don't know what the term is. It's like I'm just
prolific, iconic, legendary.
Legendary. Yeah,
legendary.
Yeah.
Legend. Wait for it. Dairy.
Ooh,
not the dairy.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, Ripperoni has a lot of dairy with the cheese pizza. You know?
Oh yeah,
That is true.
Yeah.
I mean, technically speaking, Ripperoni comes from NHRL, which is known for milk tanks. So
It is true.
They have milk in the cheese, dairy in the cheese, and milk tank.
Actually, another fun story about Ripperoni. We went over at one point to try to help them. They're like, "Oh, our bearing's locked up," and we took the bearing apart with them. They needed our bearing puller, and it was full of flour and pepper.
Because you know how they're
What the fuck? What?
I'm very interested how that happened.
Into their robot.
What?
Oh my gosh.
Chaos machine. Literal chaos machine.
So they had to
that makes me like it more.
Okay.
Yeah. Man, it was funny a couple of seasons ago when Big Dill made its debut, hearing all the pickle jokes. Now we're getting all the pizza jokes with Ripperoni, and I admire so many of them, even the cutscenes, because like I really I found it really funny when Endgame was taunting Ripperoni with that pizza and then eating it with forks. And then during the interview moment when they zoomed in on that Endgame member who was eating pizza.
He's just eating pizza.
So the thing is, so I am actually bummed at the angle they chose to air of the Endgame post-fight interview, because at filming in the pit area, the camera was dead center on all three of them. So Chris and Kenny are talking to Jack and Nick about the fight, and Max is standing directly in between them, looking straight into the camera while eating the pizza. Nick and Jack don't even know what's happening until Chris and Kenny finally comment on it, and the two of them turn around to see him eating the pizza. It was the most A+ moment I had seen in such a long. It was hilarious. And then they chose an angle where you don't get the full glory of what Max was doing.
Aw, that's like another key Battlebots editing moment they left out right there. Because I know we discussed a few of those with Bunny when she was on for a podcast for the last season, and Sure enough, that's another one right there.
Yeah.
Ripperoni delivers a victory in 30 minutes or less, or your part's back.
I would hope it's 30 minutes or less, considering the time.
I know.
Time is like what, 3
Batteries will
minutes?
last 30 minutes.
Yeah, Emma.
The joke needs some reworking there.
It's a little raw,
A
undercooked.
little undercooked, a little doughy.
Another thing we found in the berry.
True.
Civilian Arguer wanted to say something.
Yeah, this was a pretty good fight and a huge upset, and I'm really impressed that Mantine managed to predict this fight right.
Hey, I predicted this fight right too, mister.
But Mantine was going more off on it.
So.
Yeah, Mantine was a lot more confident than I was, though. Which, yeah, it was. I'm
gonna keep it real though. I'm pretty sure Mantine saw it already and just like predicted it.
Yeah, or at least knew the results from the Barango, because I know Barango was telling him about quite a lot of that stuff. So.
I mean, I'm Ripperoni's biggest fan. I didn't even predict them to win this. So
you were Ribot's biggest fan.
I am. Listen. I have like
the biggest fan of. There's nothing wrong with that.
I have a few robots that I'm a big fan of. Ribot, Ripperoni, Claw Viper's up there now. Skorpios, of course, and you know.
How many times have you gotten upset? How many times have you gotten upset at me over having separate favorite robots?
I never got upset with you over that.
No, he never mentioned that topic.
Yeah, you're allowed to have a lot of favorites. I love all the robots.
Yeah, because like you guys know my many favorite robots.
Yeah, Green has a lot of favorites. But anyways, back to this fight. So this fight was very impressive. I feel like this has to surely be one of the biggest upsets in the reboot. Like
it's literally the #1 ranked robot being beat by a rookie.
Yeah.
You cannot get a big. It's mathematically impossible to get a bigger upset.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only fight I can really think of that, in my opinion, comes close to that is maybe Witch Doctor and Red Devil from back in the ABC era.
Red Devil at least had a dub at that point.
Yes.
I'd like to submit Bombshell versus Tombstone Season 3 for consideration.
But Bombshell was the reigning runner-up, though.
Yeah.
Regardless, though, I do think this one probably tops for what the biggest upset is, because.
Yeah. But that said, this fight was a lot of fun. Some very good hits. I mean, I won't lie. I mean, Ripperoni got very lucky here with like Endgame getting jammed and the kill saws there. But you know, I appreciate that they didn't just say it wasn't just like, you know, like Deep Six versus me, where they're like, haha, you're stuck.
Yeah.
Like they kept the fight going, and it ended up being a banger fight because of it, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And, we love.
Yeah. Plus, as well, kind of going back, kind of agreeing with you there, Pory. At least on the sportsmanship bit right there, like combination that provides that's good sportsmanship makes for a much better fight, and the fact that I feel like if they won the fight just by Endgame getting stuck in the kill saw slots compared to what we saw right there,
it would have been a bad
yeah,
win.
Exactly what you would have just said. You pretty much read my mind right there. I felt it probably would have been I felt like it would have been a less quality victory there if they didn't.
100%. Like I saw in the Facebook group there was someone in there who was like saying like Ripperoni had bad sportsmanship for it. But I'm like, no, they just wanted to keep the fight going, and they wanted a good win by actually like beating up Endgame. You know, they didn't want to just.
You could hear in Endgame's post-fight interview, they thanked Ripperoni for getting them out of the kill saw slot. We've all spent like this time and money on these robots to fight, not get trapped in the first 10 seconds of a fight in like a stop. You want to get. At that point, yes, it's a big weapon, but you want to get hit and knocked out of the kill saw so we can put on a good show for everybody.
Yeah, literally.
I agree completely.
Yeah, it's why Smee was trying to free Deep Six from the kill saw slot, even though it didn't work out in the end.
But he was trying,
exactly. He was trying to, which is what really counts.
Tried his best.
And hello,
Speaking of finding
BBBN,
your
I
best
see
high
you just showed up.
BBBN,
Yeah, I popped out of nowhere. That's kind of crazy.
What's up?
Well,
It's a
what's your opinion on
Wow,
Endgame and
yo.
Ripperoni, BBBN?
I don't know what's been said before, but I will say that the fact that they aired this fight on National Pizza Day and Ripperoni won, so that was a
Yeah, that was
sign.
epic.
And as soon as I saw that it was National Pizza Day, I was like, oh, I should have picked Ripperoni instead of Endgame. It was a great fight, though. In all seriousness, incredible fight.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would say great win for Ripperoni. Not a bad loss for Endgame because they had a really solid rebound from those first few flurries of hits they took from Ripperoni. Managed to cause some wheel damage. Got quite a few blows in on the front side of Ripperoni, and definitely put up a good fight. They revealed in Discord they got hot. They simply got high centered, which is why they couldn't move. But regardless, though, that was a phenomenal fight. I thought that was a great way to lead off the episode with such a big upset like that. And yeah, I can't wait to see both these robots fight next. So yeah, let's talk about their next opponents. We know Endgame's got a rematch with Hypershock coming. Ripperoni has Hijinks for the next opponent. Derin, I know you're raising your hand. You got something you want to talk about?
I was gonna do my thoughts on the fight.
Go ahead, and then you go ahead and
that's
answer
okay.
next opponent stuff following that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So yeah, I think I was thinking Endgame, no question, because championship versus rookie. And then my thoughts and immediately I knew I was wrong when I saw Endgame just shove itself down the kill saw slots in less than a second. And I was like, well, I picked wrong. Again, impressive stuff. I mean, that anti-gyro thingamawhatsit was definitely, I mean, it was definitely working. Like they were able to turn on like a dime without doing the tip over thing. So that's good. That worked. They did lose drive at the end on one side, but then Endgame got stuck and also lost drive on a wheel and a couple other things broke. So yeah, good on them. Again, I was happy to be wrong. I picked Endgame. I am happy to be wrong.
I mean, hell, you come out of a fight against Endgame. Most bots don't even come out with half drive left.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. As for the next opponents, let's see. Endgame. I'm gonna do Ripperoni Hijinks. For Ripperoni Hijinks, I'm pretty sure Ripperoni has this. No offense to Hijinks, but I think that spin up time of theirs is just gonna kill him. And Ripperoni has been proven to KO a champion, so I'm pretty confident there. Endgame Hypershock. Oh,
That happened.
Oh boy.
The fans win that one.
I have no idea because this is a very much improved Hypershock. This is not going to be like their match in season 5 where Hypershock lasted like 15 seconds. I don't know what to expect. That's a toss-up.
Yeah.
Literally a toss-up.
So I'll go next, I guess. Hijinks Ripperoni. I think this is gonna go down to Orion Beach's driving because Hijinks's spin up time is definitely not the best, but I think Hijinks's tail will absolutely come into play this fight for at least a little bit, just until they get that spinner cranking. So I think it's just a matter of, can Ripperoni take advantage of the spin up time, or is Orion Beach going to be able to evade Ripperoni long enough in order to get that weapon going? Because I think on a weapon collision, I think Ripperoni does well, but I also think that Hijinks probably damages the front of Ripperoni pretty well, I think.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go with Hijinks for that fight, but it could genuinely go either way. I think
it could really go.
Wait a minute. Wait. Who's going Hijinks?
Yeah, I know.
One thing I'm wondering about Ripperoni Hijinks is, Ripperoni is a very unique shape. I'm wondering how what kind of anti-horizontal setup they're gonna have going for it. You know what I mean?
too.
Yeah.
That's what I'm really curious
That's fair.
about.
And then Hypershock Endgame, I think it's between if Endgame can keep up with the speed of Hypershock, because I think Will Bales is definitely absolutely not going for a front-on-front collision. I think that would spell death. I think that would spell death for them in flying colors.
Really? That's crazy.
But so I think they're definitely going to try and go for a side hit. So it's all in the matter of can Endgame outmaneuver any flanks made by Will Bales. For now, I think I'm going to go Endgame just because I think Endgame is fast enough to at least keep up with Hypershock. Hypershock's definitely the faster robot, but
Yeah.
I think Endgame can definitely keep up with it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. I'll go next. As has been said already. We don't know. I don't know if Hijinks. If Hijinks has an anti-horizontal configuration. If Ripperoni has an anti-horizontal config, and if they do, I think Ripperoni wins that fight. But if they don't, I think Hijinks wins. But I would love to see Ripperoni go 3-1 with a loss to Gruff because that would be hilarious.
It would be.
And then in Battlebots.
And then Endgame Hypershock it's a toss-up because, well, Hypershock's definitely faster, but I would wager that Endgame has a stronger weapon. I would love to see Hypershock beat Endgame and then lose to Claw Viper because it would be hilarious.
That would be epic.
I love Hypershock, but I want Claw Viper to win that so bad.
All right. With Ripperoni and Hijinks, I have a sneaking suspicion this is going to be a very similar fight to how Uppercut and Hijinks went. Uppercut and Ripperoni are very similar robots, like robots that have just giant, massive spinning weapons and can really like dish out a hit. I think it'll end up similar to Ripperoni to Uppercut Hijinks, and I'm going to pick Ripperoni because similar outcome, similar robot. And then with Endgame and Hypershock, I really think it's going to come down to both the weapons are strong, but I think it's going to come down to ground game. And Endgame has learned its lesson from this fight, and I genuinely think that Endgame has just better forks in general. It will be a close match, but I will, for now, lean towards Endgame.
Pory, you want to talk about these next?
Yeah, so these are both really hard to predict. I feel like with Ripperoni Hijinks, it really depends on two things. Ripperoni's configuration. Well, it's like three things. Ripperoni's configuration, whatever they go with, driving on both ends, and whether Hijinks has worked out like the gremlins they have. Because they usually start off a season, they have a few gremlins, and then they usually pick back up and have some pretty good fights. I mean, they've clearly had some struggles in their first two fights, but if they're like in top form, they could very well take it to Ripperoni for sure, and that could really go either way. Endgame Hypershock, I don't know. It'll be a fun fight though, I'm sure. I'm looking forward to it. Probably go Endgame.
Yeah. Yeah, as for my opinions, Ripperoni Hijinks, I'm gonna go Hijinks on that one. But like Pory said, like Hijinks has definitely had some gremlins in their first two fights. And from what it sounds like, at least from Brian Nave's interview, which we'll get to that fight in a bit, sounds like Hijinks has been working pretty last minute for some of their fights, and which could be a possible cause for a lot of that stuff. But regardless, I think it comes down to whether Hijinks has lots of that stuff sorted out for this. But yeah, I imagine that fight's not going to end in a judge's decision right there, because you got two powerful robots that are going to be in the arena right there. Endgame Hypershock, I think driving is going to be the big key for this one, because Endgame's probably going to want to stay front end towards Hypershock. Hypershock, I imagine Will's going to probably be trying to do donuts around Endgame and wait for the perfect moment to strike, which I think is what he intended to do the first time they fought, but then ended up just going head on weapon on weapon. I'm going to predict Endgame right there, because Jack has been like Will's definitely a great driver, but Jack's also a great driver. Don't mess with either of them, at least. And Jack's been doing a great job with the waiting game, especially with robots that try to outmaneuver Endgame. And I think the fort game, it definitely goes in Endgame's favor, and I think they're gonna win that fight at least. But I could see Hypershock taking it too, because like what others have said here, Hypershock is on a much higher level than they were back when they fought the first time. So we could absolutely see a turn of events, possibly. So lots could happen. Anything else anyone wants to mention about either of these two fights or Endgame Ripperoni? Or should we get to fight number 2? All right, fight number 2. So,
and I do need to warn you guys, we are going to need to pick up the pace here because that was 30 minutes for the first match.
yeah,
It was a really good match. But
yeah,
we got
I can be
about
faster.
15 minutes before we need to get going.
yep,
Oh, that's
absolutely. So, anyway, fight number 2, Death Roll and Switchback, right there. So, Death Roll coming off of a loss to Cobalt, and Switchback coming off of a win against Banshee for their first fight. So, yeah, I'll just throw the floor to you guys right there. What do y'all think about
I'll
this
go
match?
first.
Yep.
I can be quick.
Yo.
Death rolls back. Yay, crocodile. Big spinny thing. They went. That was fun, I guess. Not
I
sure
feel
why
like
he switched back.
I feel like Death Roll's the only robot that has Robot Arena 2 mechanics. Like I have no idea how we have
Yo.
around so much.
True.
Robot Arena 2? Yo.
Okay.
Sorry, very old.
Yeah.
Nice
Yo,
reference. I
no.
love it.
We all play
I'm
Robot
pretty
Arena
sure
2
every
here, so
single
it's all
one of
good.
us in the podcast knows it.
Yep.
Anyways, yeah, shout out to Charlie.
Yep.
Hi, Charlie.
Okay, I will say this sort of met my expectation for like a Death Roll fight. You know, Death Roll just staying very aggressive, just getting right after Switchback. The only thing I'm gonna say is that I have to wonder what a modern 2022 Death Roll can do in the Battlebots if they just made up a new robot, because 2019 Death Roll is still a solid Death Roll, but I can imagine just how much better a 2022 Death Roll with more power behind the weapon would do, like in fights like this, or just in fights in general.
Yeah.
Well, they
That is all I'm gonna say.
spent, like 3 years working on Death Roll. They actually took a lot of time to like measure the pulley and figure out how much space they had in between the shaft of their weapon and the edge of their weapon to put that blade. So like in some ways, yes, it looks very similar. It looks like identical to 2019 Death Roll, but internally, I think we are seeing a 2022 Death Roll because
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And the motor pods, their crazy hub motor setup is like really cheap and replaceable. And I just always blown away by how much damage it takes and still runs.
yeah,
Because it's I think they spent less than $200 on each drive, and that's really weird to me. Because
and comparatively, we spend $500 on each motor for Skorpios, and we run
Dang.
4 in our drive system alone.
Oh geez, that's crazy.
Yeah, so for Zach to say that
it's
they're
literally like 1/10 the cost and somehow survive everything.
yeah,
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Love
All
to
right.
see it.
All right.
Next person for this fight.
All right. I guess it's my turn. I was actually scared for Death Row coming into this fight because I remember talking about this fight with, I believe, Zaza, and I said how I couldn't wait to see Death Row get a win, and he said, "We'll see," which made, and he saw the fight. I'm pretty sure he saw this fight live.
He does that stuff to mess with people.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
does
he
like
does.
he does like to leave you with a bunch of mystery.
He does, but I'm glad that Death Row got a win. Definitely one of my favorite robots to see. As well, I mean, who doesn't like Death Roll?
I
Oh,
love
yeah.
Death Roll.
Crazy people.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. Literally.
So why does Civ like Death Roll?
What?
What?
If Civ, I
Moving
thought Civ was
on.
crazy.
That's fair.
Well, Civ is crazy. You are right about that, but I'm not sure if he's crazy in that form.
Oh, okay. So he's
Nah,
like
nah.
so he's not so he's crazy, but he's not insane. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Warrior and Civ, you two want to talk about this fight? Unless if Blaze has something else to say.
No, I do not.
It's the fight went basically how I anticipated it would. Death Roll, you know, I kind of figured they were gonna win this. I mean, they had a rough first fight, but Cobalt is kind of a design that is basically a hard counter to them, so I wasn't too surprised with that one. And Switchback was definitely already having issues in their first fight against Banshee, but that said, Death Roll is definitely a brilliant machine, and you love to see it. I think Switchback can definitely bounce back, but you know, Death Roll did look very good there, and I'm hoping they can keep that momentum up.
Absolutely. So my takes on the fight then, yeah, like what Pory said, I think this fight went about how I expected it to, because Death Roll seems to be a little bit more mobile and maneuverable, easier to drive between the two of them, and I was expecting they were probably going to use that to their advantage in this fight, and sure enough, that ended up happening, along with the reach of their weapon too, because I think the reach of the vertical spinner helped them a lot in this fight. Right? Like them just being in that anti-fork gang, basically. So, yeah, it was nice to see Death Roll bounce back after that loss to Cobalt, and hopefully Switchback can bounce back because we got an evolved version of Switchback, and I think that thing could be a serious terror to the arena if if Switchback gets the right
100%.
moments and everything. So
Yeah.
Switchback just works.
I don't think I've seen a damage report from either of these two robots, but yeah,
No, I
imagine.
know for sure that Death Roll waits until like a week later because they want to make sure people in Australia are able to see it before
Yeah, because I know they
their
didn't do
damage.
I know they didn't do their
Yeah.
damage report for the Cobalt fight until actually right before this episode.
Yeah. So
That
maybe
makes
it's
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we'll have to wait until they fight Mammoth.
Yep.
Oh no.
Yeah, should we talk about
Oh,
those
boy.
fights then? Blaze, you want to
I'll-
start it
I'll-
off since I know you
I wanna-
since I know one of those four robots you happen to be a big supporter of.
Yep. Well, for the Death Roll Mammoth fight, I know whenever I have like a robot on my draft team, I say free draft points. I can say free draft points because it will be free draft points because I have both robots. As much as I love Mammoth, Death Row's gonna win. I don't actually no. Mammoth's gonna beat Death Roll, guys. I'm calling it here.
I'm gonna be real. Mammoth has pulled up crazier upsets before. I mean,
That's true.
Yeah, I was literally going to bring
Exactly.
up that Death Roll, that Mammoth. One of the things that Mammoth I think is well known for is like just coming out of nowhere and then winning against big
Exactly.
opponents. That was kind of the way with Huge, then Copperhead, and then even Hijinks somewhat, but as well.
I mean, Hijinks is a little more predictable. Wasn't
Oh, yeah.
as bad because Hijinks definitely had some issues the year before.
Yeah. Regardless, though, my point
So,
still stands that like Mammoth sometimes comes out of nowhere, and yeah.
Exactly, and that's what's gonna happen this time, guys. Mammoth's gonna go into the bracket 3-1 and win the giant nut.
Did I just come back to Blaze simping for Mammoth?
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
You in fact
Yep.
did that.
I went AFK for like 15 minutes and had to log back into Blaze simping.
Yeah, well, that sounds like a skill issue, buddy. Anyways, Ominous Switchback. I don't think I can I don't want to predict this just yet because we haven't seen Ominous. Yeah, because we haven't seen Ominous second
Yeah, I
fight. They
think
might have
that's
fixed all the issues.
that's 2 episodes later from when I looked that up. Yeah.
What is Omnis's next fight?
Shred it, bro.
Copper. Oh yeah, shred it,
Right, bro. Oh no. Oh no.
Ooh, that's
Oh boy, that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Two robots that I made a joke prediction that they were gonna do
Of course
horrible.
you did.
Okay.
I don't know, but
Anyways, if I had to predict right now, I would say Switchback, just because Switchback actually was able to. Well, I can't even say if they were able to drive correctly because Ominous.
I don't
just
think
pretty much got
Ominous wasn't really having an issue with the drive. It was just that Claw Viper's
It-
nuts.
yeah,
so,
it's just
like,
keeping
Claw
up with
Viper is
Claw
just
Viper.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I can't call this.
Fair.
Who wants to go next? Go.
I'll
Yeah.
go.
I'll go
I'll
next.
quickly do-
Insert inside joke about Mammoth beating a really good robot, and you know,
No.
that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Mammoth has pulled off more interesting wins in the past. Had to reiterate that, but I will pick Death Roll at this point in time. Switchback, and Ominous. I feel like the Omni Drive is really going to throw Switchback for a loop, and I'm going to pick Ominous.
Fair. Derin, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. I'll be quick. Let's see. Death Roll Mammoth. Death Roll. This is going to be like Uppercut versus Mammoth back in 2019, where Mammoth I think caught fire after getting flipped over. Going to probably see that they're kind of similar, big verticals versus Mammoth, and they're not
Well,
copper, so right,
Okay,
easy win.
the whole Mammoth uppercut fight. I think didn't Mammoth bring a flamethrower into the box in that fight,
Yeah.
which I think is the reason why it caught fire.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Switchback Ominous. Probably Ominous, but again, you never know. Weird things have happened. I really need to see more of Ominous before I'm more certain on a prediction there. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. As for my predictions, Death Roll Mammoth, my predictions can be Death Roll, but I wouldn't be
Nah,
surprised if
you're crazy.
Mammoth comes out of nowhere and wins that fight. Right, at least to like
I
like what they have
I
in the
bet, like
past.
half the BattleBots community would be.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Then Switchback Ominous. I'm gonna lead towards Ominous on this one as of now, but that could change because we will see Ominous's fight with Shred It Bro coming soon. So and
I
that
wonder what Spin's prediction would be for that fight.
yeah, I wonder what Spin would predict. I
Hmm.
think he'd definitely be going Switchback though.
No, he would definitely go Ominous.
Oh
He's
yeah,
a big
definitely.
Ominous simp.
Other way around. Anybody else have yet to
Nah.
talk about these two fights, or should we get to the next one?
I'll do a quick prediction. Death Roll Ominous. There we go.
Fair.
Okay. So Death Roll Ominous. My reaction to that fight is a funny Leonardo
That's so
DiCaprio game.
ominous.
Those are his
not Death Roll.
predictions.
Ominous.
Not Death Roll Ominous. Not Death Roll Mammoth. My reaction is a funny Leonardo DiCaprio.
Which one? There's like
I know who you're talking
70
about
of
too,
them.
Steph.
Wait,
the one where it's like
Death Row and Mammoth are the same age. One of them isn't 50 and one of them isn't 19. What are you talking about? Oh,
Yeah.
never mind. Different one.
Oh wait. Oh
Jesus Christ.
I
Death
don't
no,
get it
no,
at
no,
all.
no, no. Death Row was older. Death Row was older. Death Row was around
Death
season
Roll,
2.
Death Roll beats Mammoth with ease, I think. Switchback. I'm gonna be honest. I think Switchback probably has the powerful weapon, is my guess. But again, I think I need to see more from Omnis to give an opinion, or like rational opinion on it.
Absolutely.
So you're giving rational opinions?
What?
That's crazy.
All right. Fight number 3. So Hijinks and Captain Shredderator for this one. A battle
should
of
be
a
two horizontal spinners. And I don't think this discussion is
this-
going to take long, I feel. So
I'll go first, I
don't like
guess.
this.
I feel just so bad for both these teams. Like these are two robots that have a lot of potential, dang it. And this is just sad to watch. Like it was a good the first it starts off with Captain Shredder just driving into the screws for some reason. And then like there's a good hit, and then their weapons kind of die, and it's a bit of more pushing around. And then Captain Shredder manages to get his weapon back up to speed, hits them a couple more times, then Hijinks just dies. I think it gets high centered on its own weapon. I honestly have no idea what happened there.
Yeah.
That was just... Oh god.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
the only thing I think I've heard damage wise was that Shredderator was struggling to spin up in the middle of that because the first weapon on weapon shot actually jammed up a piece of Shredderator's frame, preventing it from spinning up. So
Oh, epic.
yeah, I know they
Anyways.
announced it in a comment on a Facebook group post. So
Anyways,
I don't know why
I'll talk about
hijinks
this
stopped
minute.
at least. So
I'll
Ben
I'll
does
discuss it.
videos every week, so I'm
Yeah.
sure
there's one coming.
there's
Yeah.
one coming that will
I'm
explain
looking
what
forward to that.
happened.
yeah, absolutely. I bet.
forward.
Yeah, I bet Jen will do a recap video as she usually does. So Blaze,
Yeah.
you had something you want to talk about?
This fight was I no offense to either team, but this was probably the worst fight of the episode. It was just I feel like Pory is gonna say this, but I feel like this is like a basement level fight because it was just really boring to watch.
I don't know if it's quite at that level.
You thought Blip versus
the
Endgame
weakest
was
fight
a
of the
basement
episode.
level fight.
What?
You thought Blip versus Endgame was basement level. Okay.
It was.
That's just
No,
a
it
Pory
wasn't.
take. That's just a Pory
That
take.
is a Pory take.
Carry
That is
on.
true.
I have my takes, but I don't know. It wasn't a great fight, but they can't all be. It is what it is.
Yeah, count them all.
Next person
Yeah.
to talk about this one.
I think that Hijinks did come in with the right strategy though, because it definitely wanted to like just jam the thing up with its tail at first, and then just go at it. So Hijinks had the right idea. Just it was a good plan, but the execution, and it's not even like that. Like the execution panned out bad. It was just like internal issues or something. It wasn't like it's not even like a driving mistake made by them or anything. It's
internal issues are hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get the robot into the test box and it works, and then sometimes from the somehow between the test box and the arena, the robot decides, not today, guys.
Yeah.
Not today.
Yeah, I've done a few robotic competitions, and I know internals can sometimes be hell to work out because one time I entered with an Antweight in Arizona, and the only problem it destroyed was the fact that I had a wrong batch of lipos in it. And sometimes it can be really simple, sometimes it can just be an absolute like slide puzzle to figure out what went wrong.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Slide
down
puzzles.
the entire robot to figure it out. And,
Yeah.
And you still don't figure it out.
Exactly.
Robots are weird.
Yep.
That is true.
Yes. Yes.
But they're also fun.
This also true. I agree.
Yep, very fun.
Yes.
Unfortunately, guys, though, Zach and I need to get going.
Okay.
I'm really sorry,
Bye-bye.
but thank you for having us on.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Okay,
appreciate
guys.
you coming on.
Let's do this real quick.
Yo,
Get in,
bye.
Rob. So this is one of the master fabricators. This is
Ooh.
Rob Weiscarver, and he's our machinist, welder, and general guy who makes everything.
He made the
Gotcha.
jackpot wedges that we defeated Jackpot with.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
Nice. What's up?
He helped us do all the arms.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
While we're all together, do you want to go over the Big Dill and Skorpios fight?
Yeah, let's just do that.
That'd
Let's
be
just
great.
do that quick. Heck,
Yeah.
so yeah, we're gonna quick skip over to Big Dill and Skorpios and quick talk about that before they have to head out. So yeah, so we got a pretty interesting fight here, including the debut to Big Dill's vertical spinner for this fight, and this was a driving
It hits
war.
hard, guys. It hits really hard.
It's a lot harder than it looks.
Yeah.
So I want you to know, E-Man, if you saw our builder blog, you already know he came over. He told us you're going to get the new one, and I went to talk to Jen and Hijinks, and I'm like, what did he tell you? He's like, oh, he told me I was going to get the new one, and so I was like, okay. He's telling everybody the same thing, that the new robot's ready to launch, and new robots are very hard to launch. And so I'm like, I'm not going to get the new one. It's going to fail in the test box. And we're going to see the same big dill we saw in the hijinks match with those big curved anti-horizontal wedges, because he still had them on the old one.
Yeah.
And so that's why we picked the classic plow. And no offense to He-Man.
Oh,
Yeah, it came out. It was driving like twice as fast, hitting so much harder than I thought. I'm like, wow, this is hitting like Copperhead. What the heck?
oh.
It left little divots on the bottom of my Skorpios frame.
And to make it worse, somehow our fork was caught under his lifter and he bent it down.
No one has ever bent one of our wedges down before. It always gets bent forward.
Okay.
So that's why we started driving all chaotically, because it made our wheelie even worse.
Because now the robot's sitting up at an angle.
We had one that was still positioned correctly, and then we had another one that was doing like a point the toe situation.
Yeah.
So
and to have the extra sharp edge just grinding in the floor, and every time I hit a lip, it was popping.
Yeah. So.
We did.
Yeah, I was gonna ask why it seemed like Skorpios was doing a lot of wheelies. He's right there. It looked like it was like a little bit like off balance weight wise, but that explains a lot.
It was the bent down wedge was completely messing with the very carefully positioned. Like it doesn't take much to make Skorpios handle chaotically. Everything is very like carefully planned out and mapped. Not really. It is like a spaghetti party inside that robot. But
Spaghetti.
I like spaghetti
Yeah.
parties.
I mean,
Yummy,
you're not
yummy
alone in that
spaghetti.
regard.
I also like spaghetti.
Yeah.
I guess you could call them
that-
Skorpios.
Got him.
Yeah, I was definitely another one who's kind of underestimated Big Dill's spinner coming into this one, but that makes me really look forward to Big Dill's next fight with Mad Catter, at least, because I suspect that Big Dill's probably going to bring back the Vert for that, and that's probably going to be a really epic showdown. But
yeah, no, this was the best performing Big Dill
ever
the world has ever seen, and I am so happy for him that he had such a good showing.
Absolutely.
It's nice after the years he has spent on the sidelines. It was nice to see him be take the place of an alternate, I think, and just like come out banging.
And this is one of the things when we published our video of like the 5 things to help you get onto Battlebots, everyone was like, you didn't do a big spinner or make a good robot. It's because we all say that for the selection committee. Every single team that applies says we're going to be the best robot with a really good spinner, and so they don't even count that. They just assume they just assume that's happening.
The important thing is, how can you stand out from the mass amounts of people who are saying that same thing?
Because we all say it's going to drive better next year, it's going to hit harder next year, and we all come back and it drives somewhat better and hits somewhat harder. It's just really the measure of how much you really did improve it.
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, this is the best hijinks you've ever seen. It is the best Captain Predator you've ever seen. Unfortunately,
this is the best Skorpios you've ever seen.
I would agree.
Everyone's getting better.
That is true.
And it's making it harder and harder for new teams to get into the sport. So for like Doom to come out for his very first season ever, originally Doom was supposed to be in Dill Pickle's spot.
Yeah.
But he didn't pass safety. And so Dill Pickle then got to come in and take over the Doom spot. That's
why he fought Hijinks, and that's why he fought us.
Because that was originally Doom's schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a tough schedule for Doom.
Oh yeah,
Honestly.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's a terrifying schedule if I'm doomed.
Yeah.
I would be scared.
Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah.
Yeah. Regardless, though, we got an
Probably one of the
absolute
best fights of the
driving
night,
war
honestly.
between these two robots, and it was a good fight. Hey,
Yeah.
sad
The
that
is
the
that-
fight ended the way that it ended up ending right there with Big Deal losing power, like what they saw on social media. And I see Zach's got a fork right there.
It's a
We love the
danger
fork.
fork.
Yeah.
It's a danger fork. No,
Not
no.
the danger fork.
Doesn't taste like
Oh man.
And we
Just
gave
'cause that they
him
would use like
he went down, and so
that's crazy.
Absolutely. And yeah.
this thing is half-inch thick. It's thicker than our wedges.
mhm.
Ooh,
Whoa.
incredible.
Dang, that's
Dang.
that's thick.
That's gnarly.
That's a
That
thick
is
fork.
so-
Yeah, and it's bent.
Love to see it.
It's incredible.
That is thick with multiple C's.
A
Yeah,
lot of
it
C's.
just
At least 12.
that just shows like how well armored Big Dill is, and even as well how much damage that Skorpios can cause. Because like I think a lot of people really underestimate how much damage that Skorpios can do with that overhead spinner. Like,
Well,
like
yeah.
like, we definitely saw him split that top after
We left a
Big Dill
hole in
lost
Jack's
power.
heart. We
Yep.
split the top of Big Dill. And actually, I was thinking about it because we do get underestimated for how much damage we do. In
Yes.
season 4, we like ripped apart Sidewinder. Nobody talks about that.
Yeah.
We
That's
I
true.
remember that
Because
fight.
everyone thinks Sidewinder
I
wasn't good.
I think
That is
Sidewinder
true.
had a bunch of potential. Dang it! I want that team to come back and
I
prove
want them
everyone
back.
Yeah.
wrong.
They
Same.
were in the lineup to come back in season 5, but then
Something happened.
COVID.
That happened.
Yeah.
That happened. And they haven't been on the
Yeah.
lineup since. So I don't know if they just said no thank you to the
Gave up.
but they were on the and they had a super slick new frame all designed. It looked more like a snake, and it had like this really mean looking
Oh.
side spinner. It
Now I
looked
need to look this
so
up.
it was so scary looking. I was so excited for them.
Absolutely. Okay,
Man.
so
Hey, hopefully they'll come back.
Yeah.
I'm
I mean, if
hoping.
it's already designed, you're
Yes,
already
Bob.
halfway there. Just
Yeah,
go build
exactly.
it now.
Yeah, exactly. And then it'll lose Bum because Bum can go all the way next season.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Or,
Yeah,
I
so
do-
Yeah.
kind of back on this at least.
actually,
Yeah, sorry.
Actually, I do have like one question for Zach and Diana. This is kind of off topic, but this is a question I like to ask all the builders.
Oh no.
Oh.
Who do you
Oh,
think
no.
Oh,
would
boy.
win in a fight between Grabot and Ghost Raptor after the Cobalt fight?
And he's saying not before it got and he's saying not before and basically before it got
Yeah,
sent
like-
back to the pits to get repaired.
I feel like Ghost Raptor would win against
Yeah.
Grabot.
Bob just has more experience under his belt.
Chuck.
Yes. The pincers.
Legend.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
basically damage wise, I already mentioned what happened to Big Dill. Diane kind of mentioned the basics of and Zach what happened to Skorpios in that one. And definitely looked like belt smoke once again. And I think you
Yeah.
mentioned there was some frame damage. Was there any other key damage from that fight that was taken to Skorpios?
The biggest damage we took was
We lost
on
that
the
set
wedge.
of armor.
Yeah, that and so for us, for Skorpios, the armor is a consumable, and we're usually lucky if we can use it for more than one fight. And this fight, the second any of them get bent in a direction,
rebending
there's
them.
no rebending it. Our sponsor uses like a 5-ton
It's a 5-ton 2-story press.
to bend it into shape in the first. So there's no way we have anything at our disposal to rebend it. So, like Zach said, we lost that entire set of armor. We gave Big Dill the one they bent.
Jeez.
and
I'm
just
guessing
kind
the
of
other one will go up on eBay sometime soon.
yes,
Probably tonight.
most likely tonight or tomorrow.
Can I get it for
is-
$3?
Ooh.
Nice.
$3?
$3. Take it or leave it.
Even
Man,
short.
I would love to own a Skorpios part, but then sadly the eBay prices end up
Yeah.
going past what I can afford.
Yeah.
Or it's-
Well,
Yeah.
this
all good.
this time I did make sure to collect some of our
Smaller.
smaller bits that we have.
Oh,
So I
okay.
will be
Mhm.
those will be for sale, and we're not going to put them on eBay to go to get like auctioned off. They'll be more for like
$8,000.
Are they kind of
look
like
for-
buy it now parts in a way, like what Valkyrie was doing for quite a lot of their parts from recently?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's
So-
awesome. I'll have to keep an
Yeah.
eye out for that and maybe get one for myself at a Skorpios part to my part collection.
Yes.
And yeah,
That would
because
be
I'd
rad.
absolutely love to do that. But yeah, we know that your next opponent is Sawblaze, which is a fight that a lot of fans have been wanting for a while.
Why?
I think it'll be
There's
a great,
no reason in
I think it'll be a
particular.
great fight regardless. But
Yeah.
any reveals for that one?
March 1st, we're going to put up a whole crazy video because we picked the weirdest configuration for this fight. And
Some of the fans will probably be really mad at us about what we ended up running for this
Oh,
fight.
no.
Oh,
am I
so
allowed
it
to?
is
Am I allowed to
true.
make a guess? Am I allowed to make a guess on this?
I
I
do
mean,
want to just say there was real strategy behind us using it.
And I want you to know, we put up a poll in the pits.
And
Yeah.
everyone else picked it as well.
And we let the builders pick
Yeah.
our configuration. So before we take all the blame, this is what the builders wanted.
Can
I
I
think I
take a
know.
guess at what's going on, at least with that one?
I know. I think the majority of us know. what
Are you
the
using the
mistake was.
overkill blade for
Yeah.
this fight?
Yes. Because we need.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so excited to find out that
That's
so
amazing.
excited to see you got the overkill blade and
Oh
with
man.
fingers crossed you're gonna use it for a fight. I was predicting that if there was any fight you were gonna use it against, it might be Rusty, if Rusty was in it this year. But
That would be a good one.
I can
Um,
absolutely see why you'd use the overkill blade right there. Because like one thing I was gonna mention, at least whenever we do predictions, at least for that one, is that I think Skorpios is at a little bit of a disadvantage because of reach right there. Because I think Sawblaze has a lot more reach with that weapon right there compared to your overhead spinner. But I think the overkill blade gives a bit more reach to it than.
Correct.
And
So you are right that it will give us more reach, but actually, though neither weapon would reach. If both of us went in with the hammer saws, neither hammer saw reaches the other person
When we're nose to nose.
when we're nose to nose.
yeah,
Because we both have a long sticky outy thing to either get someone on top of it or
Wow.
keep someone away. And if they lock together the normal way,
It would be like a
we just be hitting each other's hammer saws, which is probably what people wanted to see.
Can I guess a reason to why you're doing it? Just
Yes.
a guess. Is it like kind of like a similar strategy to like the Shatter anime sword, where you want to like kind of like take a belt out or something?
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too.
Oh, yeah.
You'll notice based on like if you watch an overkill fight, he uses it with the normal blade side down. When we use it, we turn it the other way so the serrated edge is pointed toward saw blade.
Oh, okay.
So
Ooh,
that
that
way
makes sense.
it gives us a better opportunity to slice the belts.
My plan was I was
like
just going to
that.
let him pin us, and then I wanted to swing the sword and place it into his hammer saw. I didn't even care where,
Right.
but just come on, pin me. Let me just swing this sword into your fragile little mechanisms.
I can
I'm a
swing my
hammer saw.
sword, my diamond sword.
I know how much idlers hate anything hitting them.
It happens to us nearly every season. So we are
Yeah.
well versed on the idler going.
Our idlers further forward to let us have a short arm and still reach out. Jameson has a very long arm, so he could put his idler way back in the middle. And no one has ever managed to hit his idler so far. So
Yep.
I was like, I'm going to bring in a big, tall, ridiculous thing so I can be the first person to take out his idler.
We wanted to be
That
his-
was the plan. You have to tune in to see if it works.
We want
Yep.
it to be
Oh, not the clickbait.
chaos.
Yeah, there's the clickbait right there.
Yo.
Well, there's your
Gotta love
clickbait title
clickbait.
right
Make sure to
there. At
like
least
and
when you do a
subscribe.
post-fight recap from this fight. So
You'll get the 10K in no time. With
yeah,
that sort of
why not
clickbait.
10? Why 10K? 10M
Yeah,
in no
clickbait.
time.
When we do our
Hey.
future posts leading up to the Sawblaze fight, that you do not like scoop us
Yeah.
on the fact that we are going to be.
You're giving some station negative.
Never mind. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Forget what I said.
Regardless, I think we got a great
Yeah.
fight coming between
No, I'm
Skorpios
looking
and
forward to
Sawblaze.
it.
At least I hope.
I'm a classic Battlebots fan, so I'm here for it.
Oh yeah,
honestly.
absolutely.
And same here. And
That's the thing. We figure either the classic
Yeah.
fans are gonna love that we're using the blade, even
we
to
do.
help counter the newer fans that will be mad at us for not using our hammer saw.
yeah,
I know
because like
people
at least from somebody like me who also likes Comedy Central stuff, even though I'm not an expert on it, like Pory and others here are, like definitely like when I heard you got the overkill blade, my hopes were that you'd use it in at least one fight. And
Yeah.
That was part of the deal with us getting the blade. Christian said, I have all the rights to take it back when I want to. I would like you to use it in a fight.
Yeah.
So we brought it with us, not knowing if we were going to get the opportunity to.
I was hoping for Rusty or Doomba.
Yes.
I wanted Rusty or Doomba, and I was going to bring out big legendary sword.
Yep.
And I will say,
Yo.
when we came out of the tunnel, the look on Farouk's face when he saw the sword was priceless. That made the whole night worth it. He just looked at us like, "What the f did you guys just do?"
Yeah, the other thing I was thinking of is maybe if we're lucky, because I know in one of your builder blog videos from before the season started, showed off Overhaul with a sword right there.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get a sword fight at the end of the season.
That would
I
be
know
epic.
there were a couple people in the Discord server, Uda and I, that were talking about that a little bit. We were thinking of robots in that season. Whom we could see in a sword rumble. So I think we were thinking Skorpios with the overkill blade, Shatter with the Mary Special hammer. Let's see, who were the other two?
What if Banshee just attached like the prop sword onto it?
Yeah, Overhaul with a sword attached to it. Yeah, maybe Banshee with a sword on it. But regardless, though, we got a chair fight last season. Maybe we'll get a sword fight this year.
That was glorious.
Sword fights would definitely be great.
That'd be incredible.
One of the wonders of Charles is that he always comes up with those like really creative fights that you wouldn't really expect to have. So
maybe Dragon King will have a fight with a sword on it, and that
Dual swords.
Dual swords. Yo.
We did bring 2 samurai swords with us. We were hoping to film can the overkill sword defeat a samurai sword video while we were there.
Yep.
Yeah.
We had to fight robots.
But then we had to
fight
2
robots.
Yeah. That proved to be more of a thing than
we thought.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much for having us on the podcast.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming and talking about some of these fights with us. So
can I ask one last question?
What you got?
Yes.
Okay, I know I asked. I think Diana has already been asked this question because I made the question originally, but I want to pose this question now to Zach. If you could go back and redo any one of your fights that you lost, which fight would it be, and what would you do differently?
Yep, I remember this question. This was a hard one.
Wait, so this season or previous season?
Any fight.
Any season.
Any fight. If you could redo a Skorpios match, what would it be, and what would you do differently?
Yeah. Oh, this is easy for me. I really, really wanted to beat Uppercut. And before the match started, Chewie even warned me I put the wrong tire on the robot. And I was like, yeah, it'll work. It's fine. How different could the tires be? I didn't realize we had some knockoff tires that were the wrong kind of rubber. Ooh. And so I had one good tire that was getting really good grip. and I had one bad tire that was sliding, and it completely screwed up how the robot drives. I couldn't see it in the test box because I can't hit full speed in the test. Skorpios, and I just get my wheel like instantly ripped off. And I'm like, no, I can't let Hattori beat me at yo-yos and now beat me in the Battlebots. This is not cool. And
Oh man.
I am upset.
Skorpios uppercut rematch in the future. If
And-
uppercut
Yo.
Come
returns.
back.
Yeah.
After that match, I went and I found every knockoff tire in the pit,
And trashed them.
and they all went in the garbage. And I've always personally ordered the tires ever since. So
Gotcha.
that is
Well,
the moment in Skorpios' history I would change.
Well, wait,
that is
you
kind of silly.
what you should have done is you should have given the knockoff tires to Bronco to recreate the beginning of the 2018 moment where they flipped Gamma Raptor into the dumpster.
That was
Or not
Yeah.
Gamma Raptor, Gamma
Gamma
9.
Gamma 9.
mine,
Yeah.
yeah.
Man, not
I was
Gamma
recently
Raptor.
thinking of Gamma Raptors, so but flipping Gamma 9 to the dumpster. Imagine if it flipped Scorpios' knockoff wheels into the dumpster.
The
That
real
would have
thing
been pretty
is
silly.
all in one shot.
Probably.
Yeah, exactly.
Hung
And
as
then
long-
those tires went to great use. But yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, once again, thanks to Zach, Diane, and the rest of the crew for coming.
Yeah,
You
we
can find the
appreciate
YouTube
that.
channel as well as social media stuff linked down below. Oh, it was great having both of you on and getting to talk with us about this stuff. Definitely support Scorpios on those things. Help get them
Get
to
in the
10K
10K.
subscribers because I want to see that car getting destroyed, and because I think that'd be epic to see. And
Well,
Yeah.
thank
Thank
you
you,
guys
guys.
so much. Thank you for being fans. Thank you for watching
Absolutely.
the show. Thank you for making
Always.
this podcast.
absolutely,
We'll see you guys
absolutely.
for next
Thanks for
week.
talking
Yeah.
with us about this. So.
Anytime. Have a good night, guys.
You all as well.
Have fun.
Bye.
Adios.
Go
Bye.
down.
All right.
That was the-
Should we let's quick talk about their predictions, then we'll go back to Hijinks Captain Shredderator. So,
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
gee.
can I
Yeah,
first?
we'll
Or we could go to Jackpot Rotator. I feel like
well,
moment's
we'll do
passed.
this. We'll do Hijinks Captain Shredderator predictions. Well, the Captain Shredderator
Oh,
We did
predictions,
one of them
right.
already.
and then
yeah,
we'll
we
do
haven't
Jackpot
done the-
Rotator. So,
Yeah.
So,
All right, I'll start.
yeah, we'll start
I've
with
heard
big
really good
these
things.
two.
Okay, I start with I've heard really good things about Big Bill Mad Catter. I'm pretty sure Zaza said that it was his favorite fight that he saw. So
Oh, that's a tall order.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. I do think that Mad Catter is gonna beat Big Bill. Scorpio Subways. Oh, I really want Scorpios to win that fight just because it would be awesome to have an undefeated Scorpio season. But I don't know if it's gonna happen. I think I'm gonna say Scorpios beats Subways and Mad Catter beats Big Bill.
sure.
Yes.
Who wants to go next?
so I'll go next. So Big Cock versus Mad Catter. I'm gonna
Excuse me?
go. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Mad Catter for that one because I feel like Mad Catter's based enough to take out Big Bill. Yeah, Scorpio Sawblaze. No comment.
That's fair.
Just know I'm rooting for you, Zach and Diana. I hope you fight the. I hope you fight the power.
I hope you find your dad.
What?
Pory, BBN, or Derin.
Okay, hi. I feel like Mad Catter probably beats Big Dill. And I'm sorry, Zach and Diana, but Sawblaze probably beats Scorpios, but I would love to see an upset, especially with the Overkill Blade. I think that would be very, very hype. Who's Big Dick fighting next? Mad Catter.
Mad Catter.
You already know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll go next.
Okay, there you go.
Okay. Big Dick Energy is facing off against Mad Catter. I think I'm smoking the Big Dill pack because like like they were hyping it up. They were hyping Big Dill up. So I'll pick Big Dill for now. Smoke
Okay.
that pack. And then
That's
I
the
will
BBBN
go
pack.
with the BBBN pack. You
I'm
know it.
always smoking the
And then with
BBBN.
Scorpio
Heck
Sawblaze, no matter what, it's gonna be a fun fight. I think I will go Sawblaze. For now, it might change. It may change.
Alex, I'll take boring predictions for 500.
Yeah. Derin, you want to
My
share
turn
your
now.
predictions?
Let's see. Big Deal Mad Catter. I'll lean towards Mad Catter for now, but I'm surprised if the outdated meme reference wins. Scorpio Sub. Yeah, I said that. Fight
I
me.
can't believe BBBN's fighting. Let's go.
Scorpio Sawblaze. Considering now I know what I know, it's probably going to be Sawblaze because I don't really see how that giant sword will help. And even if it does kill Sawblaze's weapon, they're mostly the lower robots, so push Scorpios around. I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe
Yeah.
Skorpios is like has god tier ground game now.
That's the meta, you know.
Yeah, well, I'll say for my predictions,
For-
I'll start
for-
with Big Dill and Mad Catter. First of all, I think a lot of people underestimated Big Dill, at least coming into this fight. At least combination of how low those
overestimated Big
forks were going to be
Dill.
and how hard that vertical spinner can hit. And definitely this was a great test for Big Dill's spinner. This fight with Skorpios, and heard it from Zach and Diane that they hit hard, and definitely like Big Deal and Mad Catter I think is gonna be a lot more competitive of a fight than what a lot of people might think. I am still gonna go Mad Catter, but I would not be shocked if Big Deal manages to pull it off. Scorpio
I would
Sawblaze,
love to see Big Dill pull it off.
Scorpio Sawblaze. While I do think that is the right way to go for Scorpios, because I think that gives them a much better shot at being able to hurt Sawblaze a little more, or at least defeat the weapon. Kind of. It might. I'm probably still gonna pick Sawblaze, but like, if Zach can drive that fight perfectly and manage to achieve everything that he mentioned that they plan to go for with this fight, we could see them pull off an upset. So. Yeah.
Go upset time.
Well, I'm not sure if I would consider it exactly an upset because they're both
I mean,
veteran teams
it is an
and
upset.
both very good
It's an
robots.
upset,
So
technically. I would say it's technically an upset because Sawblaze made top 4 last season.
I'd call that an
Scorpio.
upset.
I call it
It's
an
not. It's not
upset.
like a Ripperoni endgame deal, but I would consider it an upset.
It's an upset. It's a minor upset. Yeah.
all right.
All right. Is it time for
Make a lot of miners sad.
What?
Yeah.
the
All right, let's
It's a
finish up
minor
with this
upset.
fight right here. We're talk about predictions for their next
Well-
battle here. Sad what happened to Captain Shredder and Hijinks, basically with all those gremlins, but I don't think we need to talk more about
Oh,
that.
boy.
So
It's a fight. It's
Captain
We've
a fight.
said
Shredder
enough.
Anyways,
Riptide. What
I'll go
what do we
first.
think about that one?
I don't.
Okay.
I wonder.
To quote Kennedy Florian himself, I think I said this last episode and I will say it again. To quote Kennedy Florian himself. Next up, Riptide fights Captain Shredder. A winnable match.
Yeah.
A winnable match.
That's all I'm gonna.
I
That's all I'm
mean,
gonna say.
I have to say, I can see Captain Shredder potentially pulling off an upset here. Actually,
Really?
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 if they actually work, maybe.
You're expecting
It's a
too high of Captain
huge
Shredder,
if, homie.
Yeah,
That's a
I
big
don't
if,
know
man.
because Riptide hasn't really been tested really this season yet. I mean, it only got hit like once against Mad Catter where it got flipped over backwards. Its fight against Splits was like 10 seconds long, so I don't know. I mean, Riptide will probably win, but I mean, I don't really know. Riptide will probably win, but I wouldn't be surprised to say the least.
Sure.
Like, I don't think Riptide's faced many horizontals, has it?
It's The movie's
Blood
Base
only
sport.
base.
Bloodsport.
Yeah, I think other than
Thought
Bloodsport, I don't really
Bloodsport.
know
Yeah.
any horizontals it's fought.
Wow,
Bloodsport.
Pory, cry about it.
All right,
No, it
Pory, what do you
has
got for
not
this one?
done
Okay. If Captain Shredderator beats Riptide, I'll eat a meatball marinara sub from Subway.
Okay.
You know,
Why is that a
Is
bad
that
thing?
a bad thing?
extra sauce.
It's not. I don't think it's a bad
Well,
thing.
I mean,
You
I'll
put your
wear,
Are you
ass-
gonna wear a white
I'll wear like
shirt?
I wear a white shirt while I do it, so it gets
Oh,
all
no.
messy.
Not the
So,
white
I
it'd
shirt.
be
still don't
like,
see why that's a problem.
well, to be like that
He
scene in
doesn't
Matilda where
understand the reference.
that kid eats the cake and it's just like gets chocolate everywhere, only with meatball marinara. It's gonna be like that sort of.
Unlike Subway.
Like, I mean, I didn't mind doing the meatball marinara thing when I did it
I'm just
when I did
saying,
it earlier
Riptide.
after I lost a bet with Mantine. So
As much as I don't want Riptide to win
When's
that,
that video coming out? Or did you not
so-
post? Did you not
yes,
make a
Smurf,
video
I know
on
it's chocolate, but I'm saying in comparison, like how that kid got messy in the movie in the hit 1996 film Matilda. You know,
Matilda? The Robot Wars
Matilda.
Bit
robot?
naughty.
yeah, Matilda. That's what the
Razor's
movie's
wife?
about.
yeah. But
About Robot
anyway,
Wars.
my prediction for Captain Shredder and Riptide.
Yes.
I think we're gonna.
Yeah.
As much as I would love to see Captain Shredder pull that one off and win the fight with Riptide. I think we're gonna see another quick knockout by Riptide and possibly even a dishelling of Captain Shredder, maybe.
I'd like to see that.
Because like
Just shelling.
Riptide hits hard.
Oh, that was awful.
Like I don't think like Captain Shredder has definitely taken on a bunch of hard hitting spinners so far, like in the many seasons
Riptide
it's
hits
been
like
a
a
part of
Riptide.
Battlebots, but I think Riptide is probably one of the hardest hitters that it's fought so far, and I think that fight, regardless of who wins, I think it's going to be a quick knockout for whichever one comes out on top. And I think it's going to be Riptide coming out on top in this one. But like others have said, I would love to see Captain Shredder pull this off. And they got to be working at 100% at least in order to accomplish that. Like, I know lots of their issues, it seemed like, based on Brian Nave's interview, who from this was just Captain Shredder and Hijinks were working to the last minute to get their robots ready for this fight. So, but regardless, though, like he's still got to be working at 100% in order to win against such a big name like Riptide, who's got 2 big KOs so far. All right, anything else? Or should we get the Jackpot Rotator?
Okay.
Moving on.
Oh,
Yep.
Jackpot Rotator. Let's go. All right.
So, Rotator. They're coming out into this one to loss to Hydra. Yeah, managed to figure out lots of the signal problems, and so that way they could have a relatively easy time driving in this fight. But then still had their weapon moving at only 50%, according to Victor Soto in the episode. Jackpot, on the other hand,
means it's
kind of did a combination prepare for Rotator a little bit, armored up their front pretty well for the horizontal spinner, and then used their forks and self-rider combination to handle the wedgelets. So yeah, I felt this was a good fight in my opinion, especially I really credit Jeff. Really credit Jeff Waters with how well he really held his own in that fight, even after Jackpot lost drive on one side, and was very impressed with Jackpot, even though they didn't come out on top, and that's not out of bias because Jackpot is one of my favorite robots. And then credit to Victor Soto too. Even with the spinner working at only 50%, that is an incredible amount of damage it was able to do in that fight. So, but floor to you guys right now, and I'm gonna go grab a drink while you guys are talking about that.
All right, cool. We can
All
talk
right,
shit
so I
about
want to
this.
see
I
something.
want to talk about this.
I think this was a great fight.
This is hello, I am green now. I
Oh
just
my
wanted
goodness,
to say,
green.
I am in the green square.
Goodness,
and,
that is an epic cat.
Yeah, you know, it's just thank you.
Oh my
thank
goodness.
you for coming to
Wait,
Green Square
I
Talks
thought you were
Battlebots.
Pory from Battlebots Armageddon.
Yeah, but I
That
haven't
is
done
an
an
epic
episode in
hat.
2 weeks, so what?
That is an
you have a
epic hat.
podcast?
Oh, thank you. Anyways, I am green. My name's Green. Hi Green. What's up?
What were you guys roasting me again?
No, that's
No,
Pory.
I
No,
was
we're just
actually not
causing
Pory-
chaos.
doing anything.
Pory was shitting on all your Black Dragon takes, saying how
Yeah, okay. I was
That's
literally sitting here
true.
being
Yeah,
like,
So
Black
I'm gonna
Dragon,
guess
little
based on what Civ
beansy
just said.
beansy baby.
I'm gonna guess based on what Civ said. He was roasting all my Black Dragon takes.
No,
so...
no one was roasting.
No, he
No one was
wasn't.
roasting your Black Dragon.
No.
I
take.
was
Wow,
complimenting his hat.
I was trying to defend you, but now I'm just gonna leave you to rot.
Okay, so
Okay.
sounds like I should do a little bit of editing work on this scene.
No,
So...
no. You
No,
should
no,
keep
no,
everything
don't,
in.
don't,
I think
nothing-
there's a
nothing-
lot of
nothing bad
potential here.
happened.
All right, how about you guys talk about
It's a lot of
Jackpot
banter.
Rotator now?
I'll
It
go
was
first.
a good
Alright.
fight.
No,
Okay.
I have something silly to say.
All right, go first.
So
Then.
I don't remember. Okay, so I don't remember who I was talking to, but when I first saw this fight, I thought Jackpot had like a small fire inside of them, but it was Rotator's red LED because
told
they
me
were
this.
underneath.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, Yeah, it was the Rotator LED, which me, and it was pretty silly. I have to say, this definitely deserved to be the midway major. It was a good
Yeah.
fight.
Absolutely, I would
Very
agree.
sadly, Jackpot 0-2.
Yep.
Okay, Darren, you
Let's
can
talk
go
about
now.
it next.
Oh, you bitch.
All right.
Sorry.
Let me think. This is a pretty good fight. That Rotator repeated what it did 2 seasons ago against the OG Jackpot and dominated. It's pretty good. Can't really think of anything interesting to say, to be honest. This was a pretty standard fight. Just solid all rounds.
Yep.
Jackpot stood in there, but couldn't take it. Or
Why do I sense you're a Rotator fan?
me.
Oh my goodness.
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm a
Rotor
big
fan
Rotator
now?
stan too, so it's all good.
I don't. I'm
Oh
not
my
really.
goodness.
I don't really have. I
Sorry.
kind of like all the robots pretty much equally. I mean, I have a slight bias.
Oh,
towards the
you're
ones from-
that type of parent.
Parent.
I am
Fair.
slightly
No,
biased
I
towards
like all
Floridian T in its own
equally.
because I live in Florida, so I'm kind of slightly biased to the Florida team. So
I'm sorry to hear
I
that.
have bias towards the Minnesota teams.
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
All right, one of the rest of y'all talk about this fight.
Okay.
Rotator is
I'll go,
him.
oh, you go.
Rotator is him, man. The fact that it was still able to do that much damage and was only at 50% power makes me wonder if
Like, Overclock's not gonna do it 100%.
Yeah.
yeah, what is it gonna do at 100%? But I also was thinking about it. It might have. I mean, Rotator is well controlled anyways. But I think 50% power made Rotator like more controlled in their driving, because I think some of the hits that Rotator gets, if it's at full power, I believe they would get sent flying a lot more than what would be at 50% if it was going at 100%. So it makes me wonder
that's
what it
crazy.
would be like. I still think Rotator would have won and the hits would have been more devastating, but Rotator is him.
Absolutely.
Rotator is him.
Rotator is him.
That is confirmed.
Wait, him? Like
Rotator
HIM?
is him.
Him from
They've been broken
Like
up for
HIM?
like a decade, dude.
what is him?
Haha.
The band.
I will explain
Oh, no.
once the podcast is over.
All right, Pory,
Alright,
what you
fine.
got for this one?
Okay, Rotator. Okay, let me keep it real. Rotator, I had them pegged to be the champion of this upcoming season, and then the Hydra fight happened, and I pulled a Captain Mantine, and I was like, nah, Rotator's washed. But then this fight happened, and now I'm back on that Rotator train. I'm smoking the Jackpot pack, even though I love Jackpot, and Rotator's in it to win it.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of got the basics of everything from these guys. This was a great fight. I would not say this was a bad loss at all for Jackpot, even
No.
though they're 0-2 right there, because Jackpot really held their own in that fight and did quite a lot of damage to Rotator, despite not coming out on top in this one. And like Pory said, this was a great rebound for Rotator coming out of that Hydra fight, right? At least, like, even if they weren't at 100%. And yeah, we know that they got Bloodsport and Fusion for their last 2 matchups. I imagine Rotator's going to try to have that spinner at 100% for those 2 matchups. Wonder what kind of damage it's going to do to those 2 robots. And yeah, it's something I can't wait to see, though. So, yeah, I imagine with Rotate or with Jackpot at least, probably the punishment was just too much for Jackpot because we know they eventually lost the weapon because it looked like a weapon motor burned out or something like that because we did see a small amount of smoke from it. And yeah, I'm guessing eventually just the punishment was just too much for its drive because Rotators, even at 50%, it proved to be such a hard hitter. So, all right, should we talk about their next matchups? Well, Blaze mentioned he's going AFK for a little bit, but yeah, we know Jackpot and Ribot, which that's a green and Pory matchup basically, and a really crucial one too, because both robots are at 0-2 right now. And we know Rotator is going to take on Bloodsport for fight number 3. So, what are our thoughts on that matchup? Those matchups.
Okay, I'm gonna do a visual representation. Okay.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
This is
dear.
Jackpot's rocket. So you can see it says Jackpot. There's a heart. It's rocket. And this is Ribot's Wedgelet. Endgame ripped it off. And it's gonna be like, and Ribot's gonna win. Thank you.
Corey, I do actually have an important question for you.
Okay.
Have you, just out of curiosity, have you ever considered that you may be just maybe a little bit of a simp?
That's
No,
true.
Well, I mean, Pory's never
thought about
denied that, though, is
No,
the
I've
thing.
never denied
Yeah, I guess I'll go next unless if Pory wants a quick talk about Rotator Bloodsport.
Oh
so-
yeah, Rotator Bloodsport. That's right. We in the Rotator household. Well, we're gonna be smoking that Bloodsport bag.
Yeah,
It's gonna be fucking great.
yeah.
It's gonna be hitting that pack all fucking night, dude. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be like Dazed and Confused, but with Bloodsport.
Yeah. I'm gonna go next, and then I'll let everybody else go following that. Start with Jackpot Ribot. I'm going Jackpot on that one. And here's why I think Ribot is not going to go with the vertical spinner for this one. I'm predicting they're gonna go the undercutter for this fight.
Undercutter would probably be wiser.
Yeah, because basically Jackpot is another vertical spinner where while they do have forks there, they go for reach with that vertical spinner. Zach and Diane actually were the ones that really talked about this one. That Jackpot's vertical spinner, the reason why it's such a hard vertical spinner to fight is that there's a lot of reach within that weapon. Like, I think Jackpot would definitely pluck those wedgelets if Ribot went with the vertical spinner, and I think it'd be a near repeat of Ribot Witch Doctor, except that Witch Doctor hits harder than Jackpot, though. But regardless, though, that's going to be a good fight and a crucial match for both robots, since both robots are currently at 0-2 right now. I'm going Jackpot, obviously, because I think I like Jeff Waters' driving abilities as well. David Jin's also a good driver too, and I think the reach game from Jackpot's vertical spinner I think will help them a lot in this fight, and definitely those exposed wheels could be launched for Jackpot in that fight, but can't underestimate Ribot because their durability is still phenomenal, and they proved those spinners can do quite a bit of damage, whichever one they go with for this match. So, yeah, I'm going to pick Jackpot for that fight, but it should be a good one. And I imagine one of Pory and I are going to be making fun of the other, at least when we get to that episode review podcast, if Pory appears on it.
Am I allowed to make fun of?
No.
No, you're not. You're not allowed to make fun of me.
I got to see it live, you pricks.
Well, too
I
bad.
thought you said I thought the last fight you saw live was Endgame
No, I got to see BattleBots live in general. Cope, cry about it. You suck.
Look at me! I'm so valuable.
Oh,
I got to
wow.
see BattleBots live. I got to eat at
Wow,
Hell's
you're
Kitchen. I'm
commentating
so
for
excited.
something.
I'm stronger than you. I'm faster than you. I'm smarter than you.
Okay. Here's
I
the
am
thing.
better.
Here's the thing. Okay, Civ.
I am
Civ.
better.
Listen, let's
Civ.
Stop
dissect
acting like
that
a
real quick. Let's dissect that real quick. You're probably faster than me. I'm a fat ass.
Dude,
you know.
stop being a child.
Stronger and smarter though? I don't know.
I don't know who I'd bet
You're the
money
guy.
on to
You're the
win
man
in
who.
that.
You're the
but-
man who ate a. You're the man who ate a stick of deodorant live on the podcast.
That means I'm
so-
That's true.
energized.
What? No, that's not how that works.
Wait, really? Why the hell
Yeah,
did you do that?
Because
Who
I
knows
hate
with
Duck.
Civ?
Because I hate Duck. That's why.
The
But-
inner working of Civ's mind is an enigma.
But back to this, you already heard my jackpot Ribot take. I got jackpot winning that fight. Rotator Bloodsport. I imagine Rotator's probably going to go with the back wedge for that one. Similar configuration to what they used
Yeah.
against Captain Shredderator last season to defend against Bloodsport Spinner. I'm going to agree with Pory on that one. I'm going to go Rotator for that fight because
That's base as hell, man.
Rotator looked really good in this fight with Jackpot right there, and Bloodsport we're not going to see till the next episode actually, where they have their fight with Gigabyte coming, and so my prediction for that could change, but like right now I'm sticking with Rotator for that one because I think Rotator could possibly knock Bloodsport off balance with the back wedge, assuming they go with that, and then maybe chew apart the underside, or if Bloodsport gets flipped, go for the top area with that spinner. So. All right, all right. Floor is yours for the 3 to 4 of you.
I'll go.
All right.
Who wants to
I'll
talk
go,
about this?
So, Rotator Bloodsport, I don't really, especially with the new Bloodsport design, I don't really see a way that Bloodsport can beat Rotator, because aren't all their internals stored in that head or something?
The
Or
weapon
some of them?
internals, yes.
You said head.
Basically,
Um,
Bloodsport has their weapon and drive internals divvied up like Ice Wave did.
Okay, so this, I think Rotator's definitely gonna want to start that fight. I think either way Rotator starts, I think Rotator wins because if it starts with the blade as an undercutter, it dices up Bloodsport, or at least it gets under Bloodsport, and then it dices up the underbelly. And I think if it goes with the overhead spinner, I think it's just gonna it probably will have a bit more trouble in that configuration, but I think it's still gonna like rip off the head of Bloodsport at some point and then get in with the win. So I think either way Victor Soto comes out on top. I think it's just a matter of how much damage Rotator leaves with going into the fusion fight after that. And then as for as for Jackpot Robot, I'm gonna go with. So I think Ribot's definitely gonna use the horizontal configuration because I honestly
make
don't
more
think the Vert
sense.
can do much in my opinion, at least against
Isn't
like
there a
because there's just a lot more like longer forked robots out there, and I feel like I think just because like I think Rotator's fast, not Rotator. Ribot's definitely faster than Rotator in my eyes.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I think Ribot might have a better chance of getting
Rotator.
around. Yeah, Ribot has a better chance of getting around
Rotator.
Jackpot and taking out some spots of Jackpot. So I'm gonna go Ribot over Jackpot here. But yeah, that's definitely a
That's
tough
basic,
matchup,
though.
and it's gonna be sad to watch one of those bots go. Well, it's not gonna be sad to watch Ribot go 0-3, but I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna go 0-3 as a thing. So
That's fair. Regardless, though, to be clear, like even though I was thumbs downing Civ's prediction, and like I'll be happy either way, no matter who wins that one, even if one of my
The-
favorite robots goes winless.
The craziest thing to me about that whole thing is the fact that Ribot and Jackpot are fighting in round 3 and both are 0-2. That's
Yeah.
just wacky to me.
Yeah,
that's
that's kind of big because like those two are both big
And
names,
nice.
and one of them is gonna have 3 losses at the end of that.
so many
Yeah.
bots are doing.
All right, Derin or BBBN.
Let me go.
Real quick, I'll just put in my say real quick. Jackpot wins because of reach. Rotator wins because of it knows how to fight against It beat Ice Wave, and it's gonna beat Bloodsport. I don't see any world where Bloodsport wins. All right, Darren, you go.
Okay, Jackpot
Yeah.
Ribot. I probably Ribot, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jackpot can pull it off because Rotator Bloodsport. I need to see more of Bloodsport before I make a final opinion on that one. I think Bloodsport could pull it off, but again, I need to see more of them, and I need
Yeah.
to see more before I have a full opinion there.
What I will say in response to some of the conversation, at least, I think if Rotator does lead with the spinner, I think they're at a little bit of a disadvantage with that because I think Bloodsport has more reach than Rotator. So I think Rotator would likely take more damage from that. But Civ could be right, absolutely right on that point
Civ
he made.
being right?
Yeah, Civ could be right. Civ's right sometimes.
Yeah, Siv's a good guy.
Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, are we talking about the same person here?
Listen, you gotta cut Siv some
Yes.
slack.
That was like
He's
that was like
Yeah,
a
No,
good guy.
I will not cut Civ any slack. It's
like
against my
you're
nature.
and BattleBots Skype, brother. I don't wanna hear it.
I didn't hear the full thing you said.
Yeah,
I
you
called
did.
him
Neither did
I
I.
called him BattleBots Skype.
There.
Okay.
All
Favorite
right.
BattleBots from
Unless if
Wish.com.
anybody else has anything more to say about these two matchups,
I gotta let me say my
Go.
predictions real quick.
go for it, please.
Okay, so Rotator's probably gonna beat Bloodsport just because Rotator is better designed to handle horizontals, in my opinion.
That's
But who
pretty
knows? We
sus-
haven't seen Bloodsport fight Gigabyte yet, which happens next episode. Could change. And then Jackpot's gonna beat Ribot because Ribot's gonna go 0-4 this season. Sorry,
No.
boy.
Please listen. Civ is
I made a joke before the season began that Ribot was gonna go 0-4, and it's on its way to do so. So
Blaze. Civ is more based.
did you just call me Civ?
Yeah, apparently.
Guys, I'm civilian arc now.
Oh my gosh, that's
Sorry.
funny. All right. Anyway, let's move on to next one. We already talked about that one. So, all right, Valkyrie and Banshee. So, I first thought this was a battle. I think Battlebots set this matchup up not just because it's kind of Valkyrie and Sub-Zero vibes, which we got two pretty good fights from those two that season, but also these are kind of based off of mythology, at least.
Okay.
Yeah, they were
That's
hyping that. They
true.
were hyping David Small especially was really hyping that up, and like right before the fight. And yeah, shout out to David Small. I hope to have David Small on the podcast once again because like that was enjoyable listening to him before and after the fight, right? Talking about that stuff, his accent and everything, it was amazing. But kind of talking about this one then. So Banshee's coming off of a loss to Switchback, and they prepared for this fight with a front plow basically to protect themselves from Valkyrie's horizontal spinner. Valkyrie
Green thing.
debuted their single fork configuration for this fight. Good fight to test it out against, and with a big ground game competitor like Banshee, and we got a I'd say a relatively solid fight between these two. So, yeah, what do y'all think about?
Well, this is
I
a
have an
pretty good
opinion.
fight, I think. It was kind of good, great box rush from Banshee to go slamming right into Valkyrie, flipping him over. Fork came off. Amazing battle strategy right there. Valkyrie from then on was exceptionally slow and incredibly unstable upside down, with them kind of tipping over and their weapon digging into the floor. And then Banshee kind of slowed down a bit and also stopped flipping and then kind of got stuck, then kind of got unstuck, and then the fight kind of petered out near the end. Fun fact about this fight, Banshee, the ESCs for Banshee's drive are constantly kind of pushed beyond what they're meant to handle and can get very hot, and so have like a temperature, and they have a failsafe that limits how much power they output when they get too hot. So that's why it was really, really slow to the end of the fight. The ESCs were hot. And also, they just stopped flipping because they ran out of air.
Ooh,
It happens.
Simple as that.
That makes sense. Everything you said right there. So
I got it from the team on Discord. I think.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Are you on Team Banshee?
Epic.
No, I just constantly
man.
lurk on Uda and constantly ask what happened in fight, and occasionally get answers.
Yeah.
That's why I get that in. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
I
that is
respect it.
how you ask questions.
Yeah, I like getting
Yeah.
that
We like
behind the
asking
scenes stuff.
questions.
I love that kind of information.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's great stuff.
Yeah.
Who wants to talk about this next?
I have an opinion.
What you got, Pory?
Okay.
I like that David Small talks like a LARPer that I knew in high
Yes.
school.
It's
He just, like-
hilarious.
He just he's like the theater kid in high school who LARPs on the weekends. It's great. I mean
I
that with the
wanted
most
him
pe- I
to.
mean that
I
with the most
wanted
peace
him
and
to
love.
do that voice the entire time.
Yeah, I was hoping he
That
would,
would've
and
been
then he started
hilarious.
talking normally. I'm like, bro, get back to
Ooh, big
talking like you're in like the Princess Bride. Like, come on, bro.
The Princess Bride.
That's a
It's
reference
movie.
right there.
Like,
That is a reference.
I am like
my
I am
goodness.
David Small.
It's a
I
base
killed my
reference.
robot. Prepare to die. You know, like that'd be fucking.
Yeah, that
That'd
movie
be fire,
slaps,
dude.
bro.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. I think that would
Okay.
it'd be an investment. But yeah, so that fight happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a. I guess is this the funny fight of no? I guess Ripperoni Endgame's the funny fight of the episode. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I do have my concerns with Valkyrie going forward though, because like I don't know, it's and I'm not gonna be like like the psycho misogynist on the Facebook group. I mean, Lucy is this is her first time driving a heavyweight. There's gonna be a bit of a learning curve, and that's totally fair. And I think she's doing good so far, but I just think that there's improvement to be made, But I hope that they show it. The next fight is very interesting. But we'll get to that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Civ, Blaze, or BBBN? You three want to talk about this?
Okay, I guess I'll go. I do have one thing that confuses me about this fight, and that's the fact that it was split. Because personally, I think that Banshee, the winner, I feel was correct. Banshee definitely won the fight, but I'm just confused on how it was split.
I'll respond to why I think it was split at least.
Well,
when
I
get
think
to
it
talk
was
see
about
why it was
partly
split too.
because I think it was because like Banshee lost drive and shit.
That counts a lot for damage.
Mhm.
I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Civ or BBN, you two want to talk about this fight?
So
Um,
this fight was based because I got to see that is kind of funny to get made.
What?
You're kind of cutting
Dude.
out a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't.
Can you quiet
Shit,
down a
give me a second. BBBN, you go.
Okay. I will say it is sad to see Valkyrie like I don't want to say underperforming, but it's the best word that I can think of. But I feel like with like I said this analogy like I don't know who was there when I said it like last night. I was like a rookie quarterback or say just a rookie player in general in any sport. Could be hockey, could be football, could be basketball. Whenever they have a new team, they need to get their feet, like their footing under them. And sometimes it's a couple of games, sometimes it's an entire season, or sometimes they get it like right away and they can adapt to it. And I don't know who said, I think Pory, you might have said like when we were just chatting that Lucy, like she's been used to like driving like smaller weight classes and
Yeah.
to jump to heavyweights is a big task.
Big difference.
It's a big jump.
Like
So
especially like a big undercutter like that. Those are hard as hell to drive, dude.
yeah,
Funny listening to Blaze.
Blaze, why don't
What?
you mute?
Blaze,
Yeah.
mute, you nerd.
Blaze me.
We don't want to hear your. We don't want to hear your.
What does your
talk
baby
about-
brother think about Banshee?
Is your baby brother playing Among Us or something?
He's probably playing
No,
Among
he's
Us
not.
VR. Yeah.
No,
He's
he's playing
He's
Gartic
getting. He's
Road.
getting.
What do you think of this guy?
He's getting
The
screamed
green
at.
one.
He's getting screamed at one. That
You think
one
he's
dude
cool?
that like.
Yeah.
trolls the-
But I still think the potential for Valkyrie is still there. It's just taking time for it to come to fruition.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because I'll be honest, I don't think that Valkyrie is a bad robot. I just think it's kind of like a little mid. Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I don't think this was a bad showing by Valkyrie. I just think that we got a good glimpse of how good Banshee's driving was. It had that, and Banshee's a pretty fast robot too. Like, I mean, it's not like a Claw Viper or a Hiker Shock, but it got a good box rush there, and
Yeah.
his flipper, yeah, it's not like Hydra, but it's a good flipper. If I'm being honest, I think I can see Banshee being like, I don't see it going like far, but I think I can see it making like a low seed in top 32 because
Absolutely.
I can see that.
Yeah.
yeah.
So he'll
Yeah.
talk about this. Then here's what's up with Valkyrie always being the victim of some of the fastest box rushes, at least. Because like a few of the fastest, they were the one
silly.
on the victims end, at least. Because like Hypershock, Valkyrie, both times really, Hypershock was on them within a couple seconds. Same thing with Whiplash, and now this fight too. Basically, that was just great driving at the beginning from Banshee. What I will admit though
So
is
now,
like what I will admit right off the bat is like definitely the fight might not have gone in Valkyrie's direction, but I was really impressed with how well it was able to perform in this one, at least compared to like previous seasons. Because like part of what I think held Valkyrie back when it got flipped, at least, was Banshee's size, because Banshee's a lot smaller than Sub Zero, and like it's definitely possible for it to connect, but I think it's harder for Valkyrie to do some serious damage to it. But what I am really impressed about is like how well it was able to drive while upside down out at least. Because like last season and previous seasons, we'd see Valkyrie get flipped and they'd only have like drive on one side, kind of partially either internal issues or partially just that they weren't meant to drive upside down exactly. But yeah, what I will say though is like definitely it seemed like a lot of what held Valkyrie back in this one was just that I think they were seeing that Banshee was having drive problems at the end of that fight for the reasons that Derin mentioned. And I think they were backing off just looking for a countdown, kind of, which I think kind of held them back in the aggression and control categories. But regarding what Blaze was saying about why this fight was split, at least, I think this fight was split pretty much for the reasons that Pory and Civ mentioned. I think they won the damage category there just because of the drive issues that Banshee was having. Banshee would definitely get damage points credit because Valkyrie lost her fork partway into that fight. But I think drive problems definitely are more important than a fork. So I I think that may have propelled old Valkyrie to get one of the judges' votes at least, but I think they did get the decision right on this one. I felt Banshee definitely won that fight, and it was great. It was a great showing from Banshee, a great bounce back from the switchback fight. Even if the flipper doesn't seem like it's at full power yet, but it was still a good bounce back regardless. And Small definitely got a good showing in of what that robot can do. What you're saying, Civ?
Because after I watched this fight live, I was like, oh shit, this could be like a F tier decision or something. Because that damage drive really like drowns you in the damage category.
Yeah.
I'd say Valkyrie probably won 3-2 damage, but if it didn't lose that fork, it damn as well might have won 4-1 maybe.
Yeah, I probably would have said 4-1 damage for Valkyrie, and then let's see the other two categories. Control, I think I'd probably go 2-1, and for Banshee, and I'd probably go 3-0 aggression for Banshee.
Yeah, I definitely feel like Banshee probably swept one of the categories. I feel.
I don't think you can legally give legally. I don't think you can give Banshee all aggression because as per the rules, like Valkyrie could just sit there and as long as its spinner hits, it technically gets one aggression point.
That's possible, but regardless, though, I think Banshee won that fight, and I think judges got it right, but can absolutely see why it was split. So, but
yeah,
Basically, Blaze, you can blame the judging criteria for why it was split, as
And
for
the
what you
judging,
said involving that.
the
So,
judging criteria.
all right, let's talk about their next fights. So,
Uh,
Banshee, a newcomer battle with Emulsifier. Then Valkyrie has Malice, and then we'll let Derin go first since
Ooh.
Derin has something to say. So, you
Okay.
talk about whatever you want, and then go ahead with Banshee and Valkyrie's next
Val-
fight.
Valkyrie Malice, I recall like on a podcast, some podcast a long time ago, Bunny said that she's more scared of fight. She'd be more scared of fighting She'd be more scared of fighting Valkyrie than Tombstone. So I'm gonna say Valkyrie wins that fight based on that. Just because Banshee Emulsifier's finally gonna get its first win, hopefully. Come on, let's see a 2-2 Emulsifier. I want to see that got in the top 16. Come on. That fight with Malice absolutely destroyed me. Come on, let's Emulsifier sweep.
Sure.
Continue.
Okay. I guess I'll go next. Banshee, Emulsifier. Emulsifier definitely has the edge, but we also don't know Emulsifier's ground game, which is big because all we know is that it has a wedge.
They do have a fork configuration.
They do have forks, but we don't know how well they work.
Yeah.
Then Valkyrie, Malice. I think Malice is actually going to win this fight just because, like has been said before, Lucy's not the greatest driver when it comes to heavyweights, but this is her first time driving. I think if Lucy, like, if this was next season, I definitely think Valkyrie could win. But just based off of right now, I think Malice wins.
Sure.
Like the record show, I'm not saying that Lucy Dew is a bad driver. I'm just saying
No,
she's
she's-
inexperienced.
no,
Oh, yeah.
That's
She's-
two different
Yeah, it's
things.
inexperienced. Yeah.
Next up, BBBN, Silver Pory.
I got this. Let me go. I think. What do I think? Great question. I think Valkyrie beats Malice just because Malice is hella unreliable. And like Valkyrie will probably get a decent shot in and either like do something to the wheels to make it stop working or do something to like the weapon shaft or and make it stop working. Like they're gonna hit like an important spot and something's gonna break on Malice. I don't know what, but something will break. And then Banshee and Emulsifier. We don't both of Banshee's fights, like the robots it fought, like have like pretty solid weapons, but haven't given like a huge shot or like giant shots given to them. Like we don't know how Banshee could handle those. I think I'm gonna pick Emulsifier there.
Absolutely.
Next, so Valkyrie, Malice. Well, first of all, BBBN said Shaft.
I did.
Secondly,
So
I honestly don't think Malice is really struggling with any like reliability problems that I'm aware of. Because like Lockjaw fight, it was running fine, and then Emulsifier fight, it didn't. It's not that it didn't work; it just got fucking clapped.
Yeah.
But that's not like a internal issue on their part. That's more of a skill issue on their part. But I feel that Malice can just like I honestly think that Malice could hit more like just like do more damage to the robot Valkyrie than Valkyrie can do to like the internals of Malice. I feel like if both bots take a head-on collision with each other, I think Malice comes in with less damage than Valkyrie does because we don't know how well that Valkyrie armor is because it's never really taken like a full-on shot. The most like it's taken is like Hyper Shock's box rush, and even then it wasn't. It's armor wasn't tested that much. But I think that Malice isn't using the forks, first of all.
No way.
No
It's
way.
definitely going on with I'd like to think they're going on with Big Red, probably.
Yeah, I imagine they're either gonna go with Big Red or Rolling Blackout for this
Yep.
one.
Yeah. So I feel like if Malice can get that first hit in, I think Malice can win this. Because another thing with Malice to note is that when it moves forward, it kind of tips upward just a tiny little bit. I think it might be able to avoid
The
that.
hospital that you're born in.
Good, very good.
Please mute yourself.
Yeah.
So Malice tips up a little bit when it moves forward. I think that it might be able to avoid Valkyrie's spinner long enough to get a hit on Valkyrie's frame before Valkyrie can get a hit on Malice. So I'm gonna go Malice over Valkyrie here. It's kind of a hot take, but I'm going for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pory, you want to quick share your takes?
Yeah, so Emulsifier, I feel surely has to be able to beat Banshee, but it really depends on ground game and driving, I suppose. But I'll go Emulsifier on that. Valkyrie, Malice, I have no fucking clue. Like, it's such a weird matchup, and I can't imagine that's gonna be like, cause the angles, man, like, like it's like they can't really go weapon on weapon because Malice's spinner is a little bit more up.
Yeah.
And then Valkyrie has like the slopes on the front, which makes it a little tricky for Malice to get a good bite unless they outdrive Valkyrie and get him from like the side or clip a wheel.
Yeah.
That said, I do think that David Rush has is that Rush the one that drives?
It's
Oh,
Lau.
Yeah.
Lau this year. Rush
Lau
is
drives
the
this year.
weapon. Yeah,
Okay.
this
But Rush
se-
used to
it-
drive,
la-
right?
Yeah, the previous few seasons it was David Rush driving. This season it's David Lau driving with David Rush running the weapon.
That's it.
Okay, so someone named David.
Yes.
Cloud husband.
So David
Yes.
probably has a little more experience driving a heavy than Lucy does. Nothing against her. But that said, unless Malice drives this fight perfectly, I don't know what they can do to Valkyrie. Because I feel like Valkyrie can damage Malice's frame a lot more than Malice can damage Valkyrie. Because I mean, you even saw in the Emulsifier fight, like that frame, like bend apart like an
Yes.
erector set. Like it just
What?
kind of.
Yeah.
It just
Hey, yo.
what?
What?
What? What?
I mean, what Pory said
Blaze?
makes sense.
What?
Okay, Blaze.
What?
Anyways, yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
It's hard to say, but yeah, I'm gonna probably go Valkyrie on that one.
Absolutely. So Banshee and Emulsifier. I'm gonna go Emulsifier on that one at least, because combination that while Banshee's got the better record, I think Emulsifier has had a better quality performance in their two matchups so far. Plus, like that vertical spinner hits hard on Emulsifier. Just look at both Malice and Fusion, and after they took some hits from Emulsifier's blade, like that thing is nasty, and could definitely do some serious damage to Banshee. David Small's definitely gonna need to be on his A game for that one, but definitely Banshee proved it's relatively durable at least, but we'll have to see how long. We'll have to see if it could take the hits from a Emulsifier. Unless if it can avoid the spinner entirely. I think that'd be the best strategy possible for Banshee at least when taking it to Emulsifier in this one. As for Valkyrie Malice, crazy because I love both these robots, but it's like one of them's gonna fall to 1 and 2 in this one. Yeah, I really want to pick Malice for this one because Malice is one of my favorite robots of all time, including I probably will predict it, at least when I do the prediction podcast. Right now, I kind of have to lean towards Valkyrie on this one because combination that Valkyrie has a reach advantage in this one, I feel. Well, at least
Yeah.
with their
too, yeah.
horizontal disc spinner. And like what Pory said, Valkyrie will probably connect on the underside area of Malice, at least when it comes in with that spinner. So I'm not sure if going head on would be wise for Malice, unless if they can hard counter the hard counter the undercutter, at least, or in some fashion. And like I think Malice is at a design disadvantage with this one, on at least when it comes to undercutters. And I think David Lau is going to need to drive it perfectly if Malice is to win this fight. So yeah.
All right.
Anyway, anything else, or should we go
Let's
to the
start
main
off-
event?
Let's start off the main event.
Main event.
Main event.
Oh,
Okay, so main event time, which is a
Pack watch
rematch between a fight that ended up having a lot of controversy on the internet. We're not going to talk about the controversy because that's not the point of this, and I don't look to
Yep.
dig into that stuff. And
Controversies are boring.
they talked a lot about at least how the community reacted, and what I will say right off the bat, though, I really love the hype that they had for this fight, at least.
Yeah.
Going to the interview,
It was funny.
interview between Jake and Chris is from
yeah, that was
last season.
amazing.
And
It was
then-
amazing
it was
editing.
so awkward.
yeah,
The editing was a brilliant. That was
Yes.
I want to just
The editing was great, but it was
Well,
also so
just-
fucking awkward.
yeah, it kind of
Was.
was.
I've
But
read into
regardless,
that.
though, I
Just
think it was
clap.
awesome. Yeah, awesome how they were hyping up this fight. And yeah, and so then coming into the actual fight right there, Hydra tried a new forks and ground game setup for this one, while Tantrum came in with wedgelets and a working self-rider, as we saw prior to the fight. So, yeah, and then this fight ended up going a lot quicker than I expected it to, and I imagine a lot of others here were probably also surprised at how quick of a fight it was. At least I wouldn't be
Mhm.
surprised. So, I'll leave the floor to you guys. You guys talk about this one.
I'll go first.
Go ahead,
This
Derin.
No,
this fight was I mean it was quite quick. I gotta be honest. I kind of went the way I mean I predicted Hydra to win, but I honestly it's like it really depends who gets under who first. That turned out to be Tantrum, and they won. So fair dues. Hydra did get one successful flip, and then they self-righted, and then they just kind of got torn apart from there. And yeah, pretty quick fight actually. Which I kind of partially expected, but yeah, just a really quick fight, like quicker than I thought it would be. I think.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go next. This was definitely. I'm glad that Tantrum beat Hydra. That kind of put aside like all the whole. Oh, Tantrum didn't deserve the giant nut because they did. They lost to Minotaur, which honestly is probably one of the toughest robots to have, if not the toughest.
Yeah, how are you gonna give
But-
someone shit for losing to Minotaur?
Right.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
Endgame lost to Minotaur. That's like they don't deserve their giant nut either, right? Or is it
Yeah,
just or is it just
Exactly.
Tantrum
Yes.
for some
Yes.
reason?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, they lost to the upcoming giant nut winners. So, like,
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I can't.
Could you be
Guys-
Oh my
more of a
goodness, yeah,
simp in this
yeah,
moment?
They lost to Mecha
Guys,
Rampage.
guys, you know who else lost to
Come on.
Minotaur? You know who else lost to Minotaur? Hydra.
yeah, Hydra did
No.
lose.
No, boo. Well, I mean, yes, that's true. But you know
Yeah.
who else lost to Minotaur?
Cobalt.
Photon Storm.
Yep, they both
So you're
did.
saying Photon Storm?
And Photon
right?
Storm's a king, so I would watch
Photon
her.
Storm's the king, exactly.
Slay
Photon
King, whatever the hell people
Storm.
say nowadays.
Yes.
Yes. Anyways, yeah. Tantrum. I predicted Tantrum to win this fight. And I mean it like no disrespect, actually full disrespect for Hydra.
Give him disrespect.
Give them disrespect, yeah.
No,
They
I'm
deserve
saying,
it.
I
No,
don't
I'm
give
joking.
him disrespect. I don't think that's fair.
Man, I'll give disrespect towards you, Corey, if you want.
You already do, so I mean.
Yeah,
Exactly.
what's the difference?
True.
I don't know. But
Exactly. Anyways, as I was saying, I definitely do think that uh, it was a fun fight to see. I honestly was surprised on how quick it was. I thought it was going to be another judge's decision, except Tantrum was going to dominate the fight a lot more. But yeah,
I think now, when robots fight like Hammerbots, or when robots have to fight like Sawblades or Skorpios, you know what they stress? They stress, oh, we're putting on more top armor so they don't get like hitting our batteries or anything like that. I think some robots, when they see Tantrum, need to be worried about their under armor, because this is the second time in a very like intense match that Tantrum has peeled up the bottom armor of a robot and got it high centered.
yep.
that is true.
Now, how do you work that out as an actual builder? I
Put
don't
bigger
know.
wheels on it.
Bigger wheels on it, but then you lose ground game. But it's something that I think people need to start talking about when they say, "Oh, we're fighting Tantrum. How are we gonna protect ourselves from not getting high centered because they peel up our bottom plate?"
True.
Absolutely.
Endgame or Hyper Shotgun shit. Like they like just get under and then launch stuff up in the air, you know? But like
Yeah,
Tantrum's more of a get under really good and then give it a good hit.
Mm-hmm.
Like Tantrum wants to get those juicy areas.
true.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go ahead and talk about this fight quick, and then let like Pory or Sib and whoever else hasn't gotten a chance to talk about it. So, uh, yeah, like what Jake said during his interview, just not being able to get underneath an opponent really hurts a flipper bot like Hydra. It was good to see a flip from it at least, and gave Tantrum some airtime. I am gave it tests for how well Tantrum can handle flips this year, since we know it's got a flipper for its next fight coming. But it was great to see Tantrum. Like, even though I really enjoyed the last fight between these two, just because of how back and forth it was, that's why I really liked that fight. Just because there was such great action from both robots, and too bad that the Battlebots community happened to be a bit toxic about the decision
A bit.
there.
Well, I mean,
Well, the
it's full of
sporting
Hydra fans,
community being
so
toxic about a really close game, I don't know what you're
regardless,
talking
though,
about.
like, it was really.
no.
I was glad to see Tantrum get like such a decisive victory in this one, and I will admit the pissing jokes that have been flying lately are funny about Hydra's hydraulics fluid leaking
Yeah,
out
it's
of
just peeing.
the robots, and
It is being.
but yeah, like what a lot of others have said here, Hydra got high centered, heard after some of those underbelly shots that Tantrum managed to get, and that was how Hydra lost drive, basically. Well, that was how that was why Hydra couldn't move there, and yeah, and Tantrum, that was a great bounce back victory from the Minotaur loss, getting such a quick knockout like that, just showing that the defending champ, is still in it. So,
Into win.
yeah, Pori and Civ, you two want to talk about this one? So I don't think you two
Yeah.
got the chance.
Civ, you can go first.
So yeah, I was really confused to see that this fight was happening when was announced live, because because like when you're in the high five area, because this happened when I was in the high five area, you can like just like look behind there and you can see the bots that are gonna fight next. That's what's fun about the high five area. You can know who's fighting next ahead of time. But
That's
and like
awesome.
you see Tantrum and Hydra just vibing there, and you're like, fuck, why? And so, but yeah, it was fun watching the Hydra fans cope and cry about it. I think Tantrum proved why it's an elite robot and why Hydra is rematch wasn't robbed, even though people still think. Well, I guess it. I'll be real. If you think Hydra was robbed, I think you still think it's robbed. I don't think a rematch really
Oh yeah.
disregards
yeah,
that opinion.
There's still people complaining about that
Oh.
decision in the Facebook group and
Yes,
probably
there
in
is.
Reddit and Uda server as well.
like
so.
it's kind of the same situation as like Duck versus Bombshell. Sure, Duck beat Bombshell in the rematch, but like Bombshell still won that BS decision. So it's like it's kind of the same situation as that. It doesn't really matter all that much, which made the
decision
rematch.
was right.
The decision was right because Duck sucks. But
No, like
Base.
according to the rules, it was right.
but yeah, Hydra. This kind of just proves the flaw in Hydra because you see that Hydra's like a really low to the ground robot most of the time, and you know but the problem is it's never that like movable. It's like it gets caught up on the floor seams a ton. Like even in like early Hydra years, such as the uppercut fight, it was stuck all over the place. But with like this configuration, yeah, Hydra was more mobile, but it had like as Jake mentioned and Green mentioned, the ground game just wasn't there for the robot. So like it's kind of just like where do you go from here? Because Hydra can't really. Well, I do think that Hydra is at least going 2-2 this season. I don't really see it losing the free shipping, and Sawblaze can go either way, I think. But it's just like a big question of what do you do from here when you fight like other robots such that have like big, massive, deadly spinners and have like dangerous ground game? Like, what if it has a rematch against Endgame, or what if it even like it lost to Hypershock even in the All Stars event thing? Like, that's that's definitely something that Jake has to like consider with Hydra. And like, I don't think Hydra's a bad bot by any means. Like, I'm just gonna throw that out there. I may say shit about it, but it's like it's still like a very elite robot out there. But it's definitely just something that Jake has to try and work out because like if you don't have good mobility but good ground game, then you're kind of screwed. And if you don't have good ground game altogether, then you're even more screwed. So it's
For
like,
sure.
what configuration can work best for me?
Yeah. We'll have to see how Hydra bounces back from this. But Pory, I know you've got stuff you want to talk about. Floor is yours.
Yeah, hi, I'm Pory, and we're smoking the pack. No, I'm kidding. So this brings both Hydra and Tantrum fights bring up an interesting piece of discourse that it comes up with Hydra and it's something that Civ just brought up, the ground game thing. Hydra typically has very good ground game. It's very low to the ground, but it's to the point where it's detrimental. It's at the point where it's so low that it just catches on the floor seams, which you've seen it happen. And as a result, you have fights where it's, either it runs into a floor seam and fucking dies, like the glitch fight, or it's the worst fight ever and it just kind of like sits there and waits for the other robot to come to it, a la Black Dragon, or when. I mean, that's why it lost. Realistically, that's why it lost. It lost to Tantrum because it just sat there and did nothing. And I don't know if it could have won if it had moved in the fight, because it could have, hit a floor seam and like died again or something. So that's really the hard thing with Hydra. But then you have the fight like tonight, or not tonight, but like this episode where Tantrum and Hydra fight, and Hydra's ground game isn't like bonkers like it was before, because they realize if they just sit there and let Tantrum come to them, Tantrum's going to do just enough to win the fight with aggression and damage and stuff. But then they're not low. Then they're not low enough to get underneath Tantrum. So and then as a result, Tantrum wins. Like with something like Rotator was out ground gaming him too, but but being a horizontal, it's a little bit easier in that case. It's just kind of Hydra at this point. it's still a fantastic robot, but it has to really choose wisely. Like, is it gonna put on a boring fight and risk losing a judge's decision by not being aggressive at all, or is it gonna sacrifice its ground game?
For sure.
That's the big question there. That said,
You want to talk about Hydra and Tantrum's next fights, Pory?
yes, I would love to. I think both of them, in both those cases, it's pretty safely a dub, unless free shipping gets really lucky or Blip gets really lucky. I don't really see how either of them wins. It's interesting that Tantrum Blip is happening. It's cool to see two robots of the same team fight, but yeah, I feel like Hydra and Tantrum probably win those fights and go to 2-1 at that point.
Right. So let me think. Hydra free shipping is probably going to be like a repeat of their fight they had in, I think, season 4, which
I don't know
was
if
their
it'll be a
debut. It's
repeat
going to
of
be interesting to
that.
see how that goes. I think it's going to be a quick and easy victory for Hydra.
Well, it was a quick and easy victory before because free shipping couldn't self-right, but free shipping's new config, it can like run upside down now, so I don't see it losing quickly this time.
Yeah, that's fair. Tantrum Blip, probably will be Tantrum, but I mean, I don't know. They're both from the same team, so I don't know. I mean, Tantrum will probably win, but you never know. Blip could pull out an upset there. It's not unthinkable. That's my thoughts.
For sure.
So
You're cutting
because
out.
of how am I good now?
Yep.
Yeah, you're good now.
So
Go ahead.
Tantrum's winning for two reasons. One is because Blip sucks, and the other is because Tantrum's forks are very like thin.
Low.
So that too, but I think in this situation, I think the thinness of Tantrum's forks are more important in this case because I think Blip's gonna go with I think so. If Blip goes with forks, which I mean, has it ever gone with forks? I don't think it. I don't think
Yeah,
it
it has gone with
Not a
forks, I think.
ton.
Yeah,
It's
it
more
usually goes with forks.
it's more it's more used to those piano key things. So I think Tantrum is gonna. I think if Blip goes with the piano keys, Tantrum gets in between those piano keys and probably controls the fight. And I think even then, like, yeah, Aaron Hill's a good driver, but Dylan's a pretty good driver too. So it'll definitely be a driving war here. But I think the main thing that has to be considered is I don't know if they're still using this thing or not, like they were last year. But that the reason that Blip went out in 28-21 was because of like the magnet shit. And if those magnets they still have those magnets, Tantrum could get a juicy hit on Blip and maybe throw it up on the wall or something, and Blip might have trouble getting off. I think another thing that might need to be considered is Blip gyros at times. It has some gyro problems, and I think and Tantrum doesn't. I think Tantrum's like a very compact, very like mobile robot. I think Tantrum will have a better time controlling itself, whereas Blip might not. So I'm gonna go Tantrum here. I don't think it's gonna be a knockout. I don't think either bot can really knock each other out, but I think Tantrum's gonna win by a decent decision. As for Hydra versus free shipping, at first I thought Tantrum versus Rotator versus Jackpot was an unnecessary rematch. This is an even more unnecessary
It's
rematch.
a really unnecessary rematch.
I don't
Yeah,
think
like there's not beef between them.
I don't think anyone in human existence ever asked Hydra to fight free shipping. And I will say that they have given Hydra a much tougher schedule. Like, yeah, it has Rotator, Tantrum, and Saw Blaze. Like, that's a really pain in the ass schedule. But then you see it fight free shipping, and you're like, why?
They probably forgot the first one happened, if we're being honest.
I honestly forgot that one happened too.
So did I. Honestly, I forgot every single one of Hydra's like regular season 2019 wins besides Warhawk.
I remember Petunia, but that's because Petunia destroyed one of the clocks, and that's why
Yeah, that
I
was really good.
remember that.
Well,
Yeah.
Bronco was memorable because they hyped that up all season. I mean, it wasn't
They
their best
did.
fight, but
Yeah, I'm gonna go Hydra here. I don't really think there's much free shipping can do in this situation.
Yeah.
I think it'll just make it to a judge's decision, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Kind of as for my takes on this, then Hydra free shipping. Free shipping. I like the new vertical spinner attachment. I like the idea behind it, but it just hasn't impressed me that much so far. I don't know if it's just teething issues or that just Gary Jin. I think this is his first time using a spinner, especially on a heavyweight. But regardless, though, like the vertical spinner hasn't done a lot so far, at least from what I know.
I mean,
As
it's a
for the
pretty
first two.
dinky spinner, to be fair.
It is very dinky.
Yeah. I think if the vertical spinner works though and does a significant amount of damage, they could maybe pull this one off. But I'm going to Hydra on this one. Like,
Yeah,
I think
I think
Hydra is going
it's-
to toss free shipping around several times, but Gary Jin's going to need to drive this one perfectly to win this fight with Hydra. Which he had a good start to the first fight back in a couple seasons ago, because it was a while before Hydra was able to get the first flip in, because Gary did a good job avoiding the flipper and got a few good control moments in. But and I imagine that's probably going to be its objective for this one. But hopefully it'll be a good fight either way. Tantrum and Blip, that one's not too far away too. I think that one's only a couple episodes away. I think that's like episode 9 or 10, somewhere in that area. But I'm also going to go Tantrum for that one. I was originally saying Blip last week, but I flipped over to Tantrum because Tantrum had a really good rebounding victory with that victory over Hydra. I don't think it's going to end as quick as it did in this one because I think Blip is a little bit better suited to take the hits from Tantrum Spinner, but I think this one's going to be another driving war because Tantrum and Blip are both very fast and very maneuverable robots. Dylan and Aaron are both amazing drivers, like Civ said, and I think definitely the damaging weapon gives Tantrum a little bit of an advantage if it was to go to a judge's decision, just because it's a lot more capable of doing damage. But I'm not going to underestimate Blip at all. I could definitely see Blip pulling this off, and I hope Blip does pull it off because it's right now at 2 losses, and like it's kind of rough to see like Blip in this kind of a position after it made the top 8 last season, but. Yeah, I bet this will be a great fight between these two robots, and I'm really looking forward to this one. I'm gonna say
Yeah, it should be a
Tantrum for
fun
this
one.
one, but I'm not confident about that choice though. So, because I could definitely see Blip pulling it off. Because the other thing that no one else has mentioned here, Aaron Hill knows Tantrum probably better than any of the other possible opponents that Tantrum has had so far. Because like he came up with because like he did a lot of the concept work within that robot. At least he knows how to beat Tantrum as much as like Calvin Eba knows how to beat Lynx and AKA.
I was just about to make a joke on
Yeah,
that.
Yeah. So
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I don't know if that's
Like-
the most accurate.
But basically, my point being that basically Aaron Hill probably has probably has good ideas on how Tantrum can be beaten at least, and I imagine he's going to try to exploit some of those possible weaknesses within Tantrum, and so even though I am going Tantrum with this one, not underestimating Blip at all is my point. So. Blaze, I don't think you've gotten to predict stuff yet.
Yeah.
You go ahead.
All
I
right.
haven't
So I
gotten
think-
to predict.
BBN as well.
All right, it's my turn. It's my turn though. I'm gonna go with the hot take here. I think free shipping is gonna beat Hydra, just because. I mean, Hydra. I believe Jake at the end of in the post-fight interview hinted towards he doesn't want to use the piano keys because if he can't get underneath, he can't really win a fight. And I think that if he uses the piano keys against free shipping, I think free shipping might actually be lower than Hydra's piano keys, which is honestly a weird sentence to say that a robot is lower than Hydra. That's weird. But and if they use the regular setup, I think Hydra's gonna struggle with mobility, and then free shipping is gonna control Hydra, and they're gonna win by judge decision. So either way, free shipping wins. Blip Tantrum definitely could go either way. It's a toss. It's very well a toss up. I am happy that they are doing it. Next season we just need to get a team Waiachi fight.
Yeah, I'd love a
because
Team
the
Waiachi
champion
fight.
Fusion's gonna fight. Yeah, the champion Fusion's gonna have to fight Hydra.
Champion Fusion.
I mean, at least I think Champion Fusion's more likely than Champion Mammoth. So
Yes.
Hey, no, Mammoth's gonna be the champion. I'm just kidding, guys. Mammoth's going 3-1 and winning the giant nut. Let's go.
Okay, play.
Yo,
You're capping, bro. Stop capping.
I'm capping.
No,
no,
Yeah,
he's saying
yeah,
Blaze
Pory's
is
capping.
capping.
Blaze is capping. Mammoth is dog
Yeah,
shit.
Blaze capping.
All
Alright,
right.
you go ahead and talk about it, BBN.
don't
Okay.
let me catch you acting
Real quick.
I didn't say who was gonna beat that Whip was gonna beat Tantrum though.
Cry about it.
Okay,
Right,
then.
yeah, cry
There you
about
go.
it. Cry about it.
There you
I have the
go.
talking stick. I'm talking right now.
The floor is
Okay.
BBN's.
Yes, let it be my floor. Very
Okay.
nice hardwood floor
He said
from
wood.
2003.
It would.
But back to what I was gonna actually say: free shipping in Hydra. Unless free shipping miraculously like finds a way for that weapon to be utterly destructive, it's more than likely gonna lose this fight against Hydra. I mean, it could just like put on a driving masterclass and always get to the side of Hydra and like get the sides, like slam it into the screws, get a couple of decent shots with their spinner. But that is best case scenario, and that best case scenario would probably happen on a 1% chance. So I will go Hydra. And then Blip and Tantrum is definitely more of an interesting matchup. It's very weird for me. But with they've put a lot of Tantrum story arc this season about the lifter and the self-rider. So that means either two things that are gonna happen in this fight. Scenario number one is like Tantrum gets flipped all the time and then just like self-rights immediately, or somehow, some way, Blip like flips them twice and then Tantrum's like self-rider breaks. I think the second one is less likely to be happening, and I believe I will take Tantrum based off of just weapon power alone.
Absolutely, that makes sense.
That's fair.
So yeah. Anything else to talk about with this fight or really the episode?
No.
All right.
No.
Let's go.
I think it's time for the outro.
Yeah, let's go ahead and close
boy.
out this podcast. So thanks for watching this
It's the outro
podcast.
time.
Thanks to everybody who came, including Zach and Diane, for coming and talking with us about their matchup with Big Dill, as well as some of the first few fights. So yeah, you can find everybody's YouTube channels linked down in the description. I'd highly recommend supporting them because lots of them post lots of great content and all that fun stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Be sure to tune in for that.
Make sure to like and subscribe.